Hello, everybody. Hello, my wonderful people. I definitely forgot to stop the music before it started the next one. How are we all feeling today? It's a great day for me because I can finally talk about the leaks. I can finally give my opinion on what I think, spoilers, is a great fucking codex. Now, does that mean everything's perfect? No. Does that mean the sky is falling? No, not at all. We are going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about everything in the leaks. This will not be a codex review. This is 100% going to be a review of the leaks once we have the full codex with Munitorium Field Manual points. We will go through everything else. I have opened up polls on both Facebook and my Discord for what people would like to have their questions answered. If you would like to do so here, you could do so through a super chat, which will support the studio, support me, help me make more great Tau content, and get your question answered as soon as possible. I hope everybody is doing well. Now, there are two big caveats that I want to make to this stream. The first is that this is my opinion. I will be talking about everything that I think. This is not definitive. This is not how the meta is going to go. This is not how whatever. This is just what this humble Supreme Commander believes will happen with our book, or believes is strong, or believes is bad, or whatever. The second is that I focus on competitive. I focus on tournament play. That's actually why a lot of you people come to watch me. So, if something I say you disagree with because you like the model or you want to run it or it's your favorite or whatever else, don't let me or anybody else stop you. Play what you love. That is the point of this hobby. It is something we put our own hard-earned dollars into and our time into. Don't let somebody tell you not to do the thing that you like. I am just going to give people an idea of the things that I'm going to take that are the 0.1% better than the other things. But the thing that I want to open with, and I mentioned it in my little spiel just there before, we are waiting for the Field Munitorium Manual points. This means that we have a 2-week window after the Codex officially is released where we are going to be looking at points in the book, which is not accurate, which is not going to be the case, and likely was sent to print like half a year ago. And as we know, a lot happens in half a year. GW have shown time and again, and they have made missteps, but recently they've actually been really good with points adjustments and everything else. We have been on the receiving end of a number of those changes, and it has been nothing but good for our index. But with that said, let's open up the document and let's have a look at all of our stuff. So, did you have a look at the codex and the rules, or is it purely leaks? I will be dealing with purely leaks. I do have access to the codex and the points. And that is one of the main reasons why I did not want to talk before all of the big players had their NDAs up. I am not under an NDA. But excitingly, I am working on, at the moment, getting my name down for the early release stuff the GW does. And I don't think a good way to start that relationship is to go out and start talking about and propagating leaks that came out of their IP. I know that it may not have made a difference because it was all over Reddit. It was all anybody was talking about. But I don't want to be seen by them as impeding on their IP. I love this game. I love playing in tournaments, and I would like to develop a good relationship with GW. I will still be critical of them when they do shitty things. I've been very critical in the past, but I've also been I won't say the first, but I have been a voice in praising them when they've done stuff correctly. And I would like, as long as that is okay for our relationship, that is how I would like to have our relationship be with a sponsorship. So, let's start off with what I'm sure everybody is concerned about, and that is the Tidewall drone port and the Tidewall gun rig. So I couldn't even get through that. Let's start with Cao Yun. We have been playing this non-stop for the last... How long has it been? Time is a fluid concept. Time is weird, y'all. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make the chat box a little bit bigger because I think we can, have that a little bit easier to... Oh my God. Do not grab that hand. I did not tell you to grab that. 2024 consent is important. So, the changes in here are... I'm not going to play Cao Yun. TLDR, I am not going to play Cao Yun. I don't think even once. And I had the idea from reading all of this stuff for a stealth-only list, and surprise, surprise, it was in the Kroot Hunting Pack detachment, not Cao Yun. So Patient Hunter changed, and the big thing here for everybody, the only change is that it's when targeting the spotted unit. There's other people that have spoken about this before. It just means that when you're guided, you don't just get blanket double exploding sixes. You only get them when targeting your spotted unit. This is a straight nerf to Cao Yun. In my opinion, shouldn't have happened because the army rule didn't change. And that also means that the -1 ballistic skill is still in there for split fire, which GW, why? Why? That is my first bad that I want to bring up. God damn it, why? We are the only faction in the game with a downside built in to our core rules. Thousand Suns just get devastating wounds all the time for the whole game. I mean... Anyway, let's move on. Imagine, if you will, because I am going to still go on this, imagine if Grey Knights could only do their deep strike stuff for 3 turns out of a 5-turn game. Imagine how much they'd love that. Imagine if Chaos Space Marines could only do Dark Packs, but if they failed, they died. I mean, anyway, let's get into the rest of it. Exemplar of the Cao Yun excludes Kroot Shapers, cool. Applies second battle round onwards instead of the third. Okay, cool. We knew about that before. No change. Precision, no change. Solid image projection unit. Really great to see this in. I actually did hate losing some of our relics from 9th. I thought they were really cool. But 3 units, redeploy them. And notice it doesn't say after you find out who goes first. So it is powerful, but it is not as powerful as it used to be. It is good for bait and switch. It is good for, supporting what you've identified to be your strong side after your opponent finishes. But outside that, it's not going to save you from bad play protection unless you catch it before you roll to go first. 3 unity devastation didn't change. Now, tempting trap. And this is something that I'm going to point out on a lot of these. Why are our stratagems being restricted? The obvious answer, GW, the obvious answer was that you make a baby version of the stratagem for turns 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, 5, you get the full effect. But you still get something to spend the CP on that is worthwhile. It's just more powerful when we're in our Cao Yun turns. Or... And let me throw this out there. I know I'm talking crazy, but GW, I've saved you 3 times. I redesigned the ghost kill for you. I told you what you needed to do with breaches and devilfish. I just, let me help you. Let me help you. Get rid of the 3-turn restrictions. We don't like it. We play it because we have to and we love the faction. It's not good design. It is good thematically. It is not good competitively. Or give us something which is more powerful. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of powerful stuff, but other armies get their detachment rule for the entire game. Maybe that'd be a great place to start. Anyway, okay. Tempting Trap cannot be used in the first or second battle round, and basically you just get trap an objective marker, shooting at it, you get +1 to wound, which is actually quite powerful. It really, really is. So the first time you use this stratagem, you must also select 1 objective marker. Until the end of the battle, this becomes your trap. So basically, when you first use the strat, and this is actually good design, when you first use it, you get to pick an objective then, which means that you don't mark it at a point where you don't really know where your opponent's going to commit their forces. But if they've got something like at a baseline, it'll probably just end up being mid. The middle objective is basically always contested. The only one I can think of where you wouldn't is supply drop, where you have Alpha and Omega, and then you just do the one that's going to be around for 5 turns and gives up 15 primary at the end of the game. But anyway, until the end of the phase, it says each time a model in your unit, so you'd be picking a unit. It's not just everybody. But further uses, what I'm getting from this is that everybody must only target the thing on the trap unit. You can't swap to another objective marker later on. Point blank ambush. We already had this. +1 AP. Why can't I use it in the first and second battle round? GW, your game is basically decided by the end of turn 3. The end of turn 2, start of turn 3. It's just the way your game goes. Understand your audience, understand your tournament play. The restriction sucks. It sucks. Coordinate to engage. We know about that. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Spot with somebody and then they get the benefits themselves but can split fire without penalty. Combat embarkation hasn't changed. Great strat. Photon grenades hasn't changed. Great strat. Wall of mirrors, absolutely dog shit. Sorry, I just wanted to trigger you. Any of your opponent's fight phase, 1 stealth, ghost kill, or commander Shadow Sun, remove the unit, place it in strategic reserves. Notice it doesn't say where on the board. You don't need to be within 6 of an edge. You cannot target a unit that is within engagement range of 1 or more units. That makes sense. That is a common restriction for a lot of stuff. I wonder why we're allowed to use this turn 1 and 2. Because Tau doesn't exist turn 1 and 2 when they're in Kao Yun. They just lay down and hope the enemy doesn't shoot at them. Anyway, enough of my salt. Kao Yun, the changes are nice. I've been playing Kao Yun for way too long. I don't want to play it. I don't like giving up the butt for the first 2 turns of the game. Let's go into what, in my opinion, is the strongest detachment in this book. And that is saying something because the other 2 are actually really good too. So, Montcar, my primary discipline. The killing blow. During the first and second battle rounds, you get lethal hits. Your whole army, lethal hits. And notice it says Tau Empire, not excluding Kroot. Kroot have the Tau Empire keyword. So their ranged weapons have lethal hits. Anyway, while a unit is a guided unit, see, for the greater good, you know, those 4 paragraphs in a diagram, which is a great army rule, by the way. I really hope they change it. I really hope they change it. We will get to the end of 10th and I will celebrate literally whatever they do next. While the unit is a guided unit, its ranged weapons have the assault ability as well. Now, this is a very, 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 very good point to bring up that I have on decent authority. That this is not a misprint. This is not them missing rules. You will need to have assault in the unit because if you don't and you advance without assault, this will not give you it because you cannot be guided if you are not eligible to shoot. The only thing that will make this work is if you have advance and shoot as an ability or you have assault in the unit. How do we get that? Primarily, gun drones. You are going to have them on basically everybody who can take them. You only need to put 1 in a crisis unit, but spoiler, the crisis units, you are not able to take duplicates. So, yeah, we'll get to that though. 95% sure they will FAQ that wording. If they do, great, and I'll be happy to be wrong. But I have some well-placed friends. And they're not under the impression that they're going to. I think GW wanted you to take gun drones and have a reason to outside of breaches. But anyway. So let's move on to the enhancements. And there are some goddamn bangers in here. These enhancements and the stratagems make up for what I think makes Montcar the best detachment in this book. Lethal hits on its own. And I was on stream with Jack from Barnyard Wargaming a couple of nights ago. I was playing 300 points down. with the points that are in this book and, holding myself to 0 takebacks whatsoever, against a good player, I still gave him a game. He only just beat me. This detachment is great. Anyway, let's get into it. Exemplar of the Monk car. This is the mid one of all of the enhancements. You just get your killing blow on round 4. Okay, 1 unit with your round 4. I'm probably not going to pay for this, I'll be honest. I think this is the most middling one of this series. Strike Swiftly. The pinnacle of these enhancements. Tower Empire model only. At the start of the battle, before any moves are made, using the Scout's ability, you can select up to 2 friendly Tower Empire units within 6 of the bearer that do not have the Scout's ability. Until the end of the battle, all models in the selected units have the Scout's 6 ability. Now, I'm going to be making a video in a little bit, and I showed it off on Jack's stream. This has led to an evolution of the Grundy maneuver. And I'll be showing that off in the next video that I do, likely tomorrow night. My work days have been ridiculous. But essentially, we no longer have just Dark Strider in a Devilfish doing his thing. We now pre-game move 3 Devilfish. Oh! And you want to know something? I made a joke about the Tidewall drone ports or the gun rigs. I'm considering if I can ever get my hands on these because they are rare as shit in Catachan. I don't know why I can't find them. These actually start to look a little better with a 6-inch pre-game move and one of the stratagems that I'm about to read out to you. I have some wild ideas for lists. And not just memes. Like, I love taking memes to RTTs and stuff. These are legitimately good. Legitimately good. Still a working concept, but just wait. Let me cook. Strike Swiftly is going to appear in almost every list I write. Straight up, just every list. I could go Crisis Spam heavy. I will take this. I go Breacher Spam heavy. I will take this. I love this enhancement. Then Strategic Conqueror. Also sharing the spot at the pinnacle, and it might not look like much. Start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins. Notice it doesn't say select your model. You can be in transports. You can be off the battlefield. Doesn't matter. Select 1 objective marker on the battlefield while a friendly Tower Empire model is within range of that objective. Add 1 to that friendly model's objective control characteristic. As per the rules commentary, that will apply after Battle Shock or other effects that reduce your OC. Crude Hounds. OC1. Stand on the mid-board, my boys. Go and kill a 50-point unit. Spoiler, it's 50 points in the Codex. We'll see if that changes. I don't know if it will. Anybody else? Yeah, cool. You want to Battle Shock me? Nids, looking at you. Oh, you Battle Shock my 10-man Breacher unit. I am OC11 because of the Fireblade. Can you get OC11 on there? No? Cool. I own it. Strategic Conqueror is amazing. This will probably also appear in every single one of my Montcar lists. Coordinated Exploitation. This one, in my opinion, is strong, but it is not mandatory. While the bearer is leading a unit, each time that unit is an observer for somebody else, obviously, until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in their guided unit have sustained hits 1 when targeting their spotted unit. Great. You give a unit of breaches, lethal hits, sustained hits, hitting on 2s, and then probably full rerolls to wound because people like standing on objectives. Oh! Get inside of me, breaches! Whew! Anyway. Coordinated Exploitation, very strong, very good. Not an auto-include, but very, very good. It will be very hard for me not to find room for this enhancement. Let's move on to the second part of what makes this so goddamn powerful. Pinpoint counteroffensive. They kill one of your tower units, excluding Kroot. you get full rerolls to hit against that unit for the rest of the game. Let me just say that again. For the rest of the game, you have full rerolls to hit against that unit. And you can use this stratagem every phase, so long as you have CP. Oh my lordy. Aggressive mobility, your movement phase, auto advance 6 for a Tau Empire unit. Everything has Tau Empire. Auto advance 6. Crude Hounds, go 18. Crisis Suits with a Cold Star, go 18. Crisis Suits without a Cold Star, go 16. Crisis Suits with Farsight, go 16. Devilfish, go 18. Boys get out at the end of it. Are you seeing where my brain is going? Loopy, I see where your brain would go there, but Strategic Conqueror, in a Montcar list, you are going to have to score early. Unless you just table your opponent, you will run out of stuff before they do. It is imperative that you have board control, and Strategic Conqueror lets you do that. You know where their models are deployed, you know where they're going to be, and you can hold stuff that you shouldn't be able to hold against them because of that +1 on every single model in the unit. It is so powerful. So powerful. Focus Fire. This one cannot be used during the 4th or 5th battle round. This one is less of a problem because turns 1, 2, and 3, I want to be bodying my opponent. 4, 5, we're just working out what each of us can score. Okay. 2 units, target 1. Both of those 2 units must target that one enemy. Get -1 AP on all of their shots. Custodes, you are fucked. My breaches are going to pick you up like you have never seen. Lethal hits, and I'm putting you on your invuln with weight of shots. Get off my board. Get off my board. Combat Debarkation, your shooting phase, and Tau Empire infantry unit that just disembarked from a transport this turn. Until the end of the phase, you just get full rerolls to wound. Pathfinders, breaches that don't have an enemy standing on an objective, doesn't matter. We are just as good as if you were. So your decision making to, I'm not going to touch this objective, that's cool, man. You don't get primary, and I still get full rerolls to wound. Just incredible. Pulse Onslaught. This one, I'm confused about because it's 2 CP. 1 Tau Empire infantry unit that is just shot, and 1 enemy unit, not monsters or vehicles, hit by 1 or more of those attacks. 2 CP, bear in mind. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, that enemy is shaken. While they're shaken, 2 from movement and 2 from advance and charge rolls. Now that means if they decide to advance, they are functionally -4. Charge rolls, -2, that's cool. Will I ever use this? No? Whose idea was this? This could be free. And I would be like, yeah, okay, cool. I'll probably forget about it some of the time. Like, don't get me wrong. The effect is strong for slowing people down. But a lot of the infantry we're going to be taking, like, we're not taking strikes. I'm going to rip that Band-Aid off right now. Strikes still suck. And anybody who tells you otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about or has a very specific plan and is one of the best players in the world and could play a literal turd on the table, pushing it around, leaving streak marks, and still beat people. So, Pulse Onslaught is just... Like, yes, if you use this on strikes, they're -1 to hit, and they're -2 to move, advance, and charge. But the investment to do that, 2 CP, when look at the other stratagems that I've just listed off, why does this have a 2 CP price tag competing with auto advance 6 or full rerolls to hit when you kill a Pathfinder unit I don't care about? I am flummoxed. That is a word I learned for this stream, and I am it. That's a Brooklyn Nine-Nine reference, by the way, for the uncultured of you. Then we've got counterfire defense systems. Opponent shooting phase, 1 Tau Empire unit that was selected the target of the attack. Till the end of the phase, each time an attack is allocated, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. At 2 CP, It is good on a Farsight-led unit. No, it's not. It's a war gear. He can't use it. Never mind. Battle tactics only, but I will get to that when we talk about Farsight. He is great. And that is so good that they at least thought about that for the Montcar detachment. If Farsight didn't interact with the Montcar detachment, I would be flipping tables, flying to England, and going and finding a GW rep so I could draw on their face. But counterfire defense system, it's okay. -1 damage is situationally okay. It's not something that I'm going to be playing around. So that is the Montcar detachment. Now we are halfway through our detachments, and we're going to catch up on a little bit of chat because I haven't had it. I've been talking a lot at you, but now I'm going to talk with you. All right. So, Darrell, Loopy, Marsu, great to see you guys. Really, really good to see like a bunch of familiar faces coming back. Hello, everybody. Hello from Katachan. For anybody who's joining me that doesn't know me, I live on a death world. Everything here tries to kill us on a daily basis, and somehow we still make life work. And we find time for 40k. It's a balance you strike. So, AJ, first heard about you via your game on Barnyard the other day. Loving the content I've seen so far, man. Thank you, Scotch. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Loopy, I really hope I got you with the Wall of Mirrors fake out. I really, really hope I scroll down and you're just calling me a bastard. Because that one was for you. I saw this comment in the corner of my eye. But yeah, Wall of Mirrors is good. I love that they put that back in. I was sad when that left ninth. Strat restriction, if it was baby versus big version, we'd be more in line with Marines too, like in Gladius, where some strats do more in certain doctrines. Right? I mean, the bones of it are right there. GW, please give us, I'm giving this to you as a freebie. I didn't charge you for the ghost kill. I didn't charge you for the breaches and for the devilfish. I'm giving this as a freebie. In an update, just any update. Baby versions of the stratagems with turn restrictions. The Tau fans will love you. We will buy everything that you put out if you give us that. Tau fans, I'm speaking for you. You don't have a say in this. Sorry, it's if you were going to buy food, no, Tau. If they do it for us. It just... hello there, Lucas. Good to see you. Loopy, the new Drakari strike gets stronger if you use them on signature units. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 30 OC for breaches. Oh, yeah. Or Kroot. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Montcar will simply table the opponent. Absolutely. Absolutely. 3 games so far. 3 games my opponent considered by turn 2 because they're basically tabled and haven't left their DZ. Yeah. Yeah, it just... Even on Jack's stream the other night, he was talking about how much pressure he was under in order to match my board control. And if he didn't make, and I shit you not, like 6 to 7 9+ inch charges in a row, he might not have won that game. He absolutely might not have won that game. 2 Fast Stalker with Trail Shaper is insane. There is a lot to love in the crew. We will go through those. We will absolutely go through those. We'll do them in order. We'll go through what I think about Montcar. We'll go through what I think about the Retaliation Carter. And we will go through the Crude Hunting Pack. Spoilers, Montcar is ahead of them just. Like, they are so good. Montcar I am gushing about, and the other ones really aren't that far behind them. They are playstyle changes, which I love. And actually, you know what? I think now is a good time for us to touch on. There has been, and you know what? Rain from my Discord, I am going to bring up yours here first. He put this in, and this is, what we're going to talk about in a little bit. Okay, I lied. Bonus question / blatant shit post. So Rain knows what they're doing here. Who do you think is going to be more mad? Tau Reddit for CSM getting twice as many detachments as us, or CSM Reddit when at least half of their detachments end up basically unplayable? Chat, can I level with you? Come here. It is, and hear me out. It is a good thing that we only got 4 detachments. Wait. Just hear me out. In the 9th edition Codex, and even from what we've seen from Space Marines, we've seen it from Necrons, we've seen it from a bunch of things. How many detachments can you actually name from a faction you don't play, that you just see at tournaments? Probably 1 or 2, right? When you have a smaller number of detachments that are written very well, and we have, honestly, 4 that are written very well. Cao Yun, turn restrictions, I don't like, but whatever, it's the world we live in. When they put effort into a few, these poor developers that are probably getting time crunched like an absolute motherfucker, they are able to put their all into it and put in some really cool shit. If you have 8 to 9 detachments when they are being crunched like you wouldn't believe, how many of them actually end up being good? How many? Really? I see 2 from Necrons. I see 2 from Space Marines. I don't even know what a Dark Angel is. Like, we have in this book, for all of the crying and carrying on that I have seen on this, and if it's one of you, please don't be offended, but hear me out. We got 4 great detachments. One of them I don't want to play because I've been playing for basically a year now. We have good detachments. How could you possibly be upset when the 9th book we played Farsight Enclaves and Tau Sept? I was a weirdo for playing Bor Khan, and we played a bit of that towards the end, but that was with some cooking from some of the best players in the world. And you know what? I get the argument, and this is something I will touch on. I get the argument for people that are narrative players or casual players, and they're just like, I want to have something which feels cool for me. That's fine. Retaliation, Carter, you are able to name that thing anything that you want. There are ways to skin that cat, and I understand not getting to, like, I loved the different septs in the 9th book. I thought that was cool and thematic as shit, but I didn't like that there was stuff that maybe Viola Sept had, but I hated their sept rule. I hated most of their other stuff. There was just that one thing that I'm like, man, I wish I could take that. I wish I could take that in something else which spoke to me as a player. Now, we have very, very, very good detachments. Very good. So please, if you're watching this and you're complaining about the number of detachments, let's actually flip it a little bit where GW learn that good, high-quality detachments in a smaller number work really well. Maybe we could not cry about change and understand it as the inevitable force that it is. And look at the fact that this is fucking great. Anyway, rant over. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now, one thing I want to touch on, because Feud, my boy, one of the players that I headhunted into the Pantheon, which welcome, by the way, buddy, put in a question in the Discord talking about a vehicle detachment. This came up on Facebook as well. I'll talk about this one. The vehicle detachment, one, I think was, they may have had plans for it, but, you know, they have done such a good job with these. And because battle suits are vehicles anyway, and I kind of get the reasoning for the change, the biggest thing, even though it interacts with Bring It Down, and yes, that sucks, the biggest thing is that us being able to just jump through walls, do that with broadsides, do that with whatever, do even like Crisis, that was pretty obnoxious. And in Retaliation, Carter, they've given us that Fire and Fade for 1 CP. I absolutely get that, you know, it might have been hat on a hat to do a full vehicle one. And I don't know if there's enough breadth between, Devilfish, Hammerhead, Skyray, which are all technically the same platform body. Sorry, Mushu's really teeing off. There's a cat over the back that likes to taunt him. I don't know if it's an asshole or if it's sizing him up to be his friend. But yeah, you might be able to hear him. I apologize for that. But also, he's my beautiful boy, and if anybody says anything bad, I will burn your house down. I'm sorry, I won't. That's not an actual threat. Katachan, we make a lot of jokes. Anyway, I get not doing the vehicle thing because I don't know if there's enough breadth to be able to do it. That is my honest opinion about the vehicle detachment. I think what you could do in a vehicle detachment is done better under Montcar and it's done under Retaliation, Carter. Just straight up. Just that is my 100% no filter opinion. Anyway, with that little bit of a pause, let's get into the Retaliation cadre. Elliot, I hope you're in the chat. Bonded Heroes. Each time a Tau Empire battlesuit model from your army makes a range attack that targets a unit within 12, improve the strength of that attack by 1. If that attack targets a unit within 6, improve the AP of that attack by 1. Now, that may not seem like much on the face of it. You may be having a reaction of, oh my God, why would I ever want to be that close? We're going to go through all of this stuff and you're going to start to see why this is actually super strong. It is so good. So let's get into it and then we will roll back to this conversation about why it's good. Pure Tide Engrave Neuro Chip. Once per turn, you can target the bearer's unit with the stratagem, even if you have already targeted a different unit with that stratagem this phase. I don't know why it just turned into an auctioneer at a derby, but that's where we landed. It doesn't get around a battle tactic. This kind of sucks. If this allowed us to do specific things or it opened up more than just being able to do battle tactics, it'd probably be good. I'm probably not going to take this, honestly, unless somebody absolutely cooks out their ass and they find a really, really good use for this. Starflare Ignition System. At the end of your opponent's turn, if the bearer is not within engagement range, you can remove that unit on the battlefield, place it in strat reserves. Auto take. Absolute auto take. This is just like the possibilities on this. And I'll bring it up when we get to the data sheets that are going to use this. Oh my God. It is just so good. Anyway, internal grenade racks. Bearer has a grenades keyword, and each time the bearer ends a normal move, you can select one enemy unit that are moved over during that move. If you do, roll 66 for each 4+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So, there was a question, what is the most broken combo in the book? I'm about to give it to you. Cold Star moves and advances because even if you advance, you're still finishing a normal move. It's whatever. But you've got 12 inches to cover them with that normal move. And potentially advance gets you onto the other side of them. That all still counts. All still counts. They take 66 mortal wounds. Then you spend 1 CP and use the grenade stratagem because it gives you the grenades keyword. That unit then takes 66 mortal wounds for 12d6 mortal wounds on a 4-up. Then you spend 1 CP for one of the stratagems that's in this detachment. I mentioned Fire and Fade for 1 CP. You move over them again. And I'm going to go down to the Torch Star Gambit. 1 Tau Empire battlesuit unit from your army that can fly, whose attacks have been resolved this phase. If your unit is not within engagement range, it can make a normal move. Normal. If it does, your unit cannot declare a charge this turn. This just specifies the normal move. Not a phase, not anything else. It is not bound. And I saw this come up on Facebook, and you are absolutely... I see where your brain went, but you are wrong. It doesn't specify phase. This is not bound by the out of phase abilities. Same as the reason why the Grundy maneuver works. We move back to the Devilfish wholly within 3. We finished a normal move. We are eligible to embark. On 18d6, On 4s, they take mortal wounds. That is on average 9 mortal wounds for 2 CP and a couple of points. This is so fucked. Whoever at GW cooked up the internal grenade racks just... I was gonna tell you how good this is. For this alone, I will be playing the Retaliation Carter. Anyway, moving on. Prototype weapon system. Each time the bearer is selected to shoot, select either the lethal hits or sustained hits 1 ability. Until those attacks resolve, ranged weapons equipped by the bearer have the selected ability. This is actually going to be very good on a number of different platforms. Commanders especially, like taking 4 guns, they can take one of the cyclics, spoiler. But then a bunch of other stuff that's like really high output sort of stuff. Lethal or sustained is great. Great. So... stratagems. And, you know, you'll see when I start going through this, the only thing that you can use from this detachment, the Pure Titan Engram Neurochip, is 1 Tau Empire battlesuit that has not been selected to shoot. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, targets an enemy that contains 6 or more models, sustained hits 1, 11 or more sustained hits 2. Now, if this didn't have the model count restriction and it was just like 6 or over, you get sustained 2, I would use this and I would pick the Neurotitan Engram Neurochip, and maybe this would win out in terms of raw efficiency over the internal grenade racks. But it just... we're seeing more elite than we've ever seen before. There are some places, if you're in a horde meta, this is great. This combo of Pure Titan Engram Neurochip, Arrogant Protocol, first guys shoot, blow your CP. Second guy shoot, blow your CP, kill literally everybody. Especially with a burst cannon Star Scythe unit. Great. With an even better, a missile pod unit. But if you're not in a horde meta, which a lot of the places that we've been seeing so far, and we'll see how the meta develops, because don't forget, new book comes out, we always see innovations to deal with whatever new boogeyman is sitting on the table. We saw it with Necrons, we saw it with Marines, we saw it all the way across. It's just, yeah. So, the Arrogant Protocol is okay, but it's the only battle tactic. Anyway, failsafe detonator. This is just throw a Riptide into somebody and blow them up. If your model doesn't have Deadly Demise, who cares? Roll 1d6 for each unit within 6 of it on a 4+, D3 mortal wounds. Crisis suit bombs. Literal bombs. It's 2 CP, so it's very expensive. And you can't use the far side ability with it because it's not a battle tactic. So, situational at best. It's cool, it's thematic, and you may end up having for it, but spoiler, we didn't get any additional ways to generate CP or make things free outside of Farsight, which is only a battle tactic. Fail safe is situational at best. Stim injectors got moved from Kaoyun into here. So, stim injectors. 6 up, feel no pain. The shortened blade. This is where you're going to be spending your CP. It's either on internal grenade racks and Torchstar Gambit for that one turn that you'll do it, because that unit will probably die in response. 3-inch deep strike. Now, this is the point where somebody asked in the Facebook thread that I put up, does this ignore no deep strike bubbles? We're talking, I think it's infiltrators from Marines or Dark Strider or anything like that. No, it does not. Those abilities are super powerful, and because this exists, if it is the most popular way to play, you will see a lot more of them hitting people's lists, which eventually might drive us out of the Carter. But at the moment, 3-inch deep strike for 2 CP is so worth it. And you will see when I start going through the 3 crisis detachments, Arakan Protocol, already spoken about. Torch Star Gambit, really already spoken about. It's a 1 CP Fire and Fade. It is amazing. Grav Inhibitor Field, this one's interesting. I don't know that I'd ever use this, and you'll see why. Opponents just declared a charge. You are selected as the target of the charge. Now, bear in mind this before they roll anything. The enemy unit immediately takes a battle shock test, must roll 1d6 for each model in that enemy unit. For each 6, they take 1 mortal wound. Okay. Sucks, honestly. I think this could have been a 4-up and it's much better. But then cap it at like 6 mortal wounds. I don't know. Not as good. You can see why, with everything we've looked at, Montcar is just packed to the brim with stuff that you want all the time. And its detachment rule, works on everything, including Kroot. Retaliation Carter, I don't think will be as broad. It might be specifically powerful, but you have to take very specific things to make it work. And on top of that, it doesn't help anything that doesn't get within 12. That's broadsides. Sorry, boys. So that's the Retaliation Carter. That, for me, sits at an equal second place. Because I haven't had time to play it yet, which means I'm not going to form an opinion until I have more data. Kroot Hunting Pack. Just let me start by saying, Kroot! Oh my God! This won't look like it at first, but this is a great detachment. Each time a Kroot model from your army makes an attack, +1 to hit if they're below its starting strength, add 1 to the wound if they're below half strength. It's kind of like Sisters, but reversed. Skirmish Fighters, every single Kroot model in the list has a 6-up invulnerable against melee and a 5-up invulnerable against ranged. It's obviously not as good as a 4-up invulnerable, but that would be ridiculous. 5-ups on everybody is great. And even a 6-up means that just because somebody hits you with 1 AP doesn't mean you're just automatically dead. That is actually huge, even just for the decision-making that your opponent has to do. And then another thing, if you select this detachment, Kroot Carnivore units from your army have the battle line keyword, meaning you can take up to, 6 of them, and you can put them in 20-mans. Kroot Hawk Flock, the first of the enhancements. By the way, love all of these. Every single name. I'll go through whether I love them as a rules thing, but from a naming perspective, GW, perfect. So, Kroot model only. Ranged weapons equipped by models in the bearer's unit have the ignores cover ability, and enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 horizontally of the bearer. Let me pose this to you. You go into somebody that has a Retaliation Carter, and you're like, man, I paired the mirror for Tau. Damn it. Sucks. I hate that matchup. Aiden Walsh is in the chat. That caught my eye. Everybody, Aiden is a very, very good friend of mine from Queensland, Australia. How you doing, buddy? It's great to see you. Everybody, please show him some love. You have Dark Strider that has a 12-inch bubble of Nope. You have a Kroot character that you attach to a unit or don't. And there's another bubble of 12 where they can't come in. You cover 12 to the model, 12 to the model, 24. 12 to the model, 12 to the model, 48. And that's just horizontally. And then you do the same, you do 12 each side vertically, if we're talking in terms of Y and X axis. That is an enormous amount of the board that if they start too much of their stuff in Deep Strike, you are going to be so easily able to screen that. They will do nothing for the rest of the game. It might even be that with the sheer numbers you will have on the board, their stuff in Deep Strike will die in Deep Strike because it will not be able to come in turn 3. That will be like, you know how you unlock achievements on like a PlayStation or Steam or whatever else? That is my achievement to unlock for this edition. I am going to have somebody have their reserves and Deep Strikes die in Deep Strike because I didn't let them come on the board. Anyway. And ignore cover is really nice. It's good to give that to a unit. Nomadic Hunter. Crew trail shaper model only. While the bearer is leading a unit. Oh, no, sorry. I'm going to roll back. Not only that, but you put that on a Crew Farstalker unit, the character that joins them, because there are Crew characters that can join the Farstalker unit. They have Infiltrate, and most of the characters have Infiltrate. So in setup, you put your Pathfinders out or your Crew guys out. Doesn't matter which order. You're setting up for the Grundy maneuver, whatever. They're thinking about the Grundy maneuver because some beautiful, massive four-headed Cyclops made it famous. You know, whoever that is, thank you. You're probably gorgeous. Then they're thinking about that. You put down a Crew Farstalker unit, string it out in the same way, knowing that you have a pre-game move to walk back behind a wall, and at the extremity of the unit, you put that character and go, oh, by the way, an extra 12 inches past me, you can't put any units down. You have just won the deployment phase. Just straight up won the deployment phase. Anyway, let's move. Now we can move on. Nomadic Hunter. While the bearer is leading a unit, add 3 to the move characteristic of models in that unit, and ranged weapons equipped by models in the unit have the assault ability. Gives you speed. As long as this isn't aggressively priced, this is well worth its money. This is putting a Cold Star into a Kroot unit. Some random insane-ass Kroot jumped into the cockpit of a Cold Star battlesuit, somehow tricked the AI into thinking that it was a commander, and then just drove off and he's like, and then everybody listened to him. I didn't think that was going to kill my voice as much as it did. Excuse me. Oh. That actually murdered me. But you know what? The sound effect was worth it. That is what Kroot sound like. And Bartholomew, very happy. Very happy. Does he sound angry? See, this is the problem that I've had throughout my entire life. We're going to go on a personal tangent. There are people when I've been in arguments with them where, you know, I'm mad about something or they have, you know, upset me in some way, or even I'm talking about somebody else that's not them and I'm just venting about something that happened. There is an energy, and this is why I've had to spend so much of my life making sure that my tone is correct and that I let people know that I am a kind person through a lot of the things that I do, because for some reason, when I'm passionate about something, I have a method of delivery, of tone, of volume, of body language, or whatever else that somehow makes people think they're going to die. And I don't want to project that to anyone who's not at risk of dying. So I have had to, Taka, great to have you here, buddy. Thank you so much, pal. Really great to see you. I have had to make a big effort into not doing that. So, you know, when I'm talking about this, I am excited about what I'm going to do to people and already feeling bad for them. Aren't you ex-service? Sounds about right. Yes, but I don't know why. I just had a natural talent for it, which has come in handy when I've actually needed to make someone not think that getting into an altercation is a good idea, because they just go, ooh, okay, everything I'm getting, it's not worth it. And then they just don't do it. It's actually gotten me out of a lot of fights. But anyway, let's move back on to this. I am happy about the Codex. I feel bad for everybody that's going to play against Tau for the next, 6 months or something. Did I goon more people? I'm glad you watched that, Aiden. That was actually a really great story. I haven't yet, but yeah, just a lot of there are a lot of people that have contacted me who are like, I've never watched a YouTube video in its entirety, but I couldn't turn that shit off. But anyway, root carved weapons. This goes on a war shaper. The nomadic hunter goes on a trail shaper. When we go through the data sheet, it will make sense why there's these restrictions. And there is also some stuff I'll talk about with Recruit where they can equip have two characters lead a unit, which is really, really good. All weapons equipped by the bearer have precision and devastating wounds. Maybe. I don't know. While the bearer is Borthrod Gland. What a name. What a name. This goes on a flesh shaper. While the bearer is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack on an unmodified hit roll of 5+ scores a critical hit. I was looking for a couple of things in this. I don't know that anybody really has stuff that interacts well with this, but it's probably meant to go with what we'll talk about, which is some of the strats. Well, I guess one of the strats particularly. Am I thinking of that? No, I completely had that backward. I'm thinking of something else. I don't know what this is supposed to service, but we'll go into the other stuff and we'll see. I think this is probably for a flesh shaper to go into a fast stalker unit, but let's just go to that now. The stratagem that everybody's been talking about, join the hunt. I even had this come up. And so basically people are struggling with the idea of how to explain this to people. And I looked at it and I was like, this looks really simple. This is really, and maybe it's because I'm a TO and I, do really well with sort of like digesting information and whatever, but this seems really simple to me, that interaction. But any phase, target one crit infantry or crit hounds unit from your army that was just destroyed. You can use this stratagem on that unit even though it was just destroyed. Add a new unit to your army identical to your destroyed unit in strategic reserves at its starting strength. Cannot be used to return destroyed character units to attached units. So, basically, I think this line is in here to let you know that if a character dies to precision, you can't just go, cool, I'm just going to bring him back and he comes back into the unit. And I think that would create too many bad interactions with like, he's out of the unit, so he's destroyed, so he's not in the unit, but then we bring him back and he's in the unit again and whatever. And then what they're sort of referencing for what could be a little bit fucky with it, and that is a term, you are looking at, I guess it's just so that, my brain has gone back to the Borthrod Gland. The Flesh Shaper, I believe, is this one that gives melee attack sustained hits. That enhancement allows them to get sustained hits on a 5-up, which is actually pretty good, if I'm honest. It is, the War Shaper. So, his stuff, once per battle round. Target a unit for 0 CP, even if another unit has already been targeted with the stratagem that phase. Now, if we start looking at this as a combo, Join the Hunt is very powerful. You save your 2 CP, a 20-man unit of crew dies. You pay for them to come back. And then the next unit dies that he's in, and you go, cool, I'm going to bring them back for 0 CP. This is, there shouldn't be confusion on this, but obviously people are wondering about it. He is able to use it because the unit that he is attached to just died. That unit was destroyed. It is a bodyguard unit that died. At the point that they died, he is still attached to them until after the activation ends. He uses 0 CP, I am going to bring you back. So, therefore, the unit comes back, just not with the character attached to it because they're in strategic reserves. That is how that interaction will work. That is absolutely the intent, because why else would they have it do anything? But anyway, I can guarantee if this becomes a problem, GW will FAQ this. My God, those Kroot noises actually ruined my voice. Have I seen the Art of War game Custodians vs. Tau? No. Work has been kicking the crap out of me. I haven't had any free time. A trap or laid. Shooting phase or fight phase. Not been selected to shoot or fight. After units resolved, select one unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks. Each time a Kroot model from your army makes an attack that targets the enemy unit, unless the attacking unit is battle shocked, improve AP by 1. There's a bunch of really, really good ways to do that. And, there's a couple of units that I'll highlight that are going to be really, really fantastic for this, but just give your entire army -1 AP. Really great. This is, I think, going to be the most CP expenditure you have for a Kroot-only list. Absolutely. EMP grenades. Shooting or fight phase. Just after an enemy vehicle is selected to shoot or fight. A Kroot grenades unit, which, by the way, every single Kroot unit has grenades. Every single one. There is not one without the grenades keyword. So you're probably going to have a unit within 8 of them. And notice also, it doesn't say line of sight. It just says pick a unit within 8. Oh boy. Jesse, does that require you to use the strat first before getting to use it for free? No. What it means is that you cannot use it for free first and then pay to use it after. This was in the rules commentary. In order to use the strat again for free, you must have paid to use it first. So 2 CP first, then free, that is okay. Free and then 2 CP, no, not allowed to. Join the stream later. Have you gone on the drone porn in one car with its lethal hits? I made a meme and then a serious statement about it. We haven't reviewed the thing yet, but I did bring that up in one car. I definitely did. EMP grenades, great. You have -1 weapon skill and ballistic skill until the end of the phase. Great. Great. Because they're already stealth by their nature. So if they're trying to shoot at something, you are -1 ballistic skill and you're -1 to hit. Fantastic. Oh, Dan. Okay, I just saw your message. What I'm bringing on Saturday, I had Blake message me and go, what the fuck is that list? I'm basically doing a bring everything I wish I played at a tournament before the new book comes out. What about free? Yeah, if you're only doing it the once, you can just go, yep, cool, I'm using this for free. Done, bang, new unit and strat reserves. No problem. It's only if you use it for free and then you're like, oh, I want to spend 2 CP for it. After you've done that, that's a no-no. 0 CP with nothing else preceding it, absolutely fine. If you want to use it twice, then you've got those restrictions. That's all in the rules commentary. Grizzly Feast. 1 Kroot unit that destroyed an enemy unit this phase. In your opponent's next command phase, each enemy unit within 6, take a battle shock test. If the unit taking that test is below half, subtract 1. Enemy units affected by this stratagem do not need to take any other battle shock tests in the same phase. This one is... I guess I would have liked wording of like at the start of your opponent's next command phase, but it doesn't matter. Battle shock, controlling an objective is done at the end of the command phase. So regardless of when this happens in the command phase, you can battle shock somebody immediately on, objectives or whatever else, or, units that wouldn't even have to take a battle shock test. Take a battle shock and potentially I give you 0 primary. The Grizzly Feast is actually going to be very powerful. This list is not a table U list or any Kroot hunting pack. It's going to be about board control. You will kill stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be about board control. It is going to be a swarm list. And swarming people and then going, all right, I'll put this unit, I've strung them out as far as I can for a 20-man. Yes, I said 20-man. I have strung them out as far as I physically can. I'm within 6 of this objective, 6 of this objective, and 6 of that objective. All 3 of those units take a battle shock test. Oh, you failed? Sorry, dude. You get 0 primary this turn. For, like, no reason. Fantastic. Now, you do have to destroy 1 or more enemy units. But if you're able to fight something and kill it, that's just like, people throw down infiltrators and screens and that sort of stuff. This will be really powerful for, turn 2 primary, I charged into something with overwhelming attacks, killed a little thing that you thought you didn't care about, but then with pile-ins and consolidates and whatever else, I'm in range of a bunch of stuff, battle shock. You cannot target them with stratagems for your turn. You have 0 OC. There's a lot to this. It doesn't seem like much, but there is a lot to the Grizzly Feast. Later on, it's going to be a little bit harder into things like Custodes. You're never going to use it, but your game plan will change against somebody like Custodes. So, act accordingly. Guerrilla Warriors. Really good. Your movement phase, just after a recruit unit falls back, they can shoot and charge. Really great. Oh, I'm going to tie up your 20-man unit with something I don't care about. Cool, man. I'm just going to run away and then shoot you and then charge somebody else. Thanks, bro. And then Hidden Hunters, the real winner, aside from the friends we made along the way. Your opponent shooting phase, until the end of the phase, your unit can only select that target as long as they're ranged, as long as they're within 12. So, that means, and this is a weird one, because it says after your opponent has selected its targets, 1 recruit unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the unit's attacks, until the end of the phase, your unit can only be selected with a range attack, from somebody within 12. It doesn't say specifically that your opponent can then reselect its targets. So you can actually absorb somebody's shooting with this stratagem. Now, this is going to be the one that I will say to every single Tau fan that watches this video. Do not be that prick that gotchas people with this. Let them know about it beforehand. This is like Tau players already get enough shit because people are upset that we kill them from range. I know. Who would have thought it? But because we're the only army in the game with any ranged weapons whatsoever, it makes sense that all of the other 20 melee-only armies would be upset that we shoot them. So that makes sense. But do not be one of those pricks, and this is back to serious, do not be one of those pricks that gotchas people with this. Because I think, if I'm reading this correctly, they've selected their targets. It's not when they're selecting their targets, it's take 1 away. Now, I would like to see if GWFAQs this as if they've selected more than 1 target, they get to, they lose their shots. But if all of their, shots are allocated into that 1 unit, they're allowed to redo it. I'd actually have to check the FAQ to see if that's in there. I don't believe it is. But don't gotcha people with this if it's something where they lose their shooting. That is just the most shitty thing to do. Don't be a part of it. Actually, that's a good question, Loopy. Let's look up if it's worded differently to the Nurgle strat. I'm actually going to get out the app because that's probably the easiest way to look up these rules. Because if it's not, then it'll work the same way that the Nurgle strat does. All right, so, fuck, do I have to go into CSM? I don't know what it's called. So, Index Chaos Space Marines, Slaves to Darkness, Stratagems, Dark Obscuration, that's it. It says, until the end of the phase, your unit has a stealth ability. In addition, if it's Nurgle, until the end of the phase, your unit can only be selected as the target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 18. This one is the exact same, but it's 12. So I guess it does work like that, because that's how the Nurgle one was working, right? It's the same as Canoptic, isn't it? I have no idea. I don't know Necrons. And if anybody in my stream right now does know Necrons, get out. You're not welcome. You're disgusting. I hate you. So, I'm going to assume then, because Nurgle, I know, get out of here. Don't show that to the entire stream. Jesus. Nurgle, I know, was able to, actually, let's full screen this. That looks a lot better. You were able to redo your attacks. So I'm going to assume that that runs on the same precedent. So, all right. Again, don't gotcha your opponents with it, but they will be able to reselect their attacks if my collection of this information is correct. But anyway, the TLDR of that is Hidden Hunters is great. Use it, bait people with it, make them make hard choices. I love this one. Don't gotcha people with it. Don't be a prick. So, that is the detachments. And then we got the drones. Nothing changed. Except for the missile drones went down to AP1 to be in line with every other missile pod in the game. So, let's get into the data sheets. And I'll give you a little bit of a ranking from the leaks. Montcar, number 1. 100%. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased, and Montcar is my discipline, and it's the love of my life. I'm not biased. Fuck you. I would put the Kroot Hunting Pack at 2 if I had to pick, Retaliation Carter at 3, and Cow Unit 4. That is my first impressions competitive list of like order in which I would play these. Data sheets. Now, not every data sheet is shown in this leak. For those that are wondering, stealth suits absolutely exist. Pathfinders exist, Vespid exist, Darkstrider exists, Longstrike doesn't. Following Marsu, can we please have a moment of silence for our boy Longstrike? All right, moment of silence is up. Let's have a look at everybody else. Shadow Sun didn't change, and I don't think she needed to. She is very good, getting CP back. As we're going to see, re-rolling hit rolls of 1 is not strictly necessary, but it is actually possible to deploy in positions in a way where your entire army has re-roll a hit roll of 1. And we'll go into that when we get to the stealth suits. But in my opinion, she was absolutely fine. She doesn't need to change. She is great. And with Onvar gone, she's actually kind of our cheapest lone option that isn't a firesight marksman that, in my opinion, doesn't really do all that much. Like, the firesight was great at the start of the index when we're working stuff out, but it just doesn't have as much of a place anymore. Farsight. This one is one of the biggest changes. Let me go in a little bit. I know that it's going to be a little bit blurry, but it might be better for you guys sort of looking at it and whatever. Wave the short blade +1 to wound within 9. Easy as you could possibly get in either Montcar or Retaliation Carter to be within 9 of somebody. It's actually shooting fish in a goddamn barrel. Like how easy it is to get him within 9. Then they changed his once per game reroll all hits and wounds in the fight phase, which was a little bit situational. You didn't always get Farsight into combat. Now, once per battle round, you can target this model's unit with a stratagem for 0 CP, and you can do so even if you've targeted a different unit with that stratagem this phase. That has some massive implications. One, Montcar is full of excellent battle tactic stratagems. The second is that if you put him in the Retaliation Carter with Pure Tide Engram Neurochip and you're going into a Horde army, you can get 3 instances of sustained hits, 1 or 2 depending on the enemy unit size. 3 different units and him doing it for free. But you have to go spend, Pure Tide spend, 0 CP. That is the order in which you must do it. If you don't want to do that, you can just go, cool, I'm just going to use Commander Farsight's 0 CP. Or I'm going to spend 4 at once. I haven't taken the Pure Tide Engram Neurochip because I didn't want to spend the points on it. So spend 4 at once, Farsight's unit does it. Pretty good. you go into a you go into a Montcard detachment. Let's have a look at this. I'll scroll back down to that and we'll zoom back out. Tempting target. Wait, no, that's not Montcard. Get out of here, Cal. Nobody likes you. Full rerolls to hit if they destroy Farsight's unit. You just do that for free. Killing Farsight's unit gives you full rerolls to hit. Just cause. As long as you haven't used that battle round. Auto Advance 6, just use it for free. Focus Fire. You pick 2 Tau Empire units, but it's my understanding of this ability, if you target Farsight's unit with it first, you get to do this for 0 CP. Till the end of phase, each time a model in either of your units makes an attack, it can only target that enemy unit. Do it for 0 CP. Done. Combat Debarkation, he can't do. Don't even look at it. They cannot get out of a transport. And that's all of our battle tactics. Also, it's important to point out that our CP reroll is a battle tactic. You can CP reroll again. Do it on one unit. Do it on him. Done. Cool. Oh, Loopy, you might actually be right. I'm going to retract that. I think I remember something from Necrons when they got their FAQ. I believe it actually is in the FAQ, and I'm an idiot for not thinking of it. You do need to have both units with 0 CP abilities in order to target both. That is absolutely something that needs to happen. Ignore me. But all of the other stuff that I said is actually accurate and factual. Farsight, in my opinion, is going to find it into basically every list. Maybe even the Crude Hunting Pack. Just, he's great. He's great. If you don't have the new Farsight model, do yourself a favor. It's also a joy to paint. Let's talk about the Enforcer Commander and where is he, the Cold Star? Guys, they did it. They finally gave us a reason to take the Enforcer. I know that breaking up the crisis units wasn't the most popular decision that GW have made. I know that there are people that don't like that they've gone to 2 guns. And to be honest, I'm holding my opinion a little bit because I don't know whether it's at the moment a buff or a nerf. Naturally, losing a gun is a nerf, but there are other upsides that might outweigh it a little bit, and them running around with 3 guns apiece might have actually been overkill, but I won't raise an opinion on that yet. Having 3 different units that can have leaders go into them gives us a reason to not just go, oh, you know what, I'm going to take a 6-man for 400 points. And there's only one option to put in with him. I want a Cold Star because I want to be able to advance and assault and whatever. If you, for example, in Retaliation, Carter, have an all-flamer unit, which I'm going to scroll down to them and I'm going to show you why my brain has gone to this particular thing. Star Scythe, guys that can take the flamers, okay? They don't look like much. D6, strength 4, AP 1, damage 1. Yeah. Fall back and shoot. Okay, that's not bad. When this unit targets non-monsters and vehicles, improve the AP of the characteristic by 1. Huh. Retaliation, Carter. Where are we? Target a unit within 12, improve the strength of that attack by 1. Okay, I have to be within 12. They're flamers. They're strength 5, AP 1. Okay, yeah, cool. Cool. If you're within 6, improve AP by 1. So I have strength 5, AP 2, flamers. 2d6 flamers each bottle. And potentially a commander with them that gains the Star Scythe ability. He can take four flamers. That's 10d6 AP2 flamers and strength 5. And if you're wondering how you get them within 6, might I introduce you to the shortened blade? Or if you've got a Cold Star in there, just, Move 12. Advance. Still shoot. Just going to leave that to cooking your noodles for just a little bit. But then if I don't go a cold star, wouldn't it be nice if a unit with fall back and shoot also had, if anybody shoots at them, worsen the AP by 1? If they don't have ignore cover and I position myself well, I'm functionally ignoring AP 2. If something is AP 1 and targets me in cover, cool, you're done. Don't care about you whatsoever. AP 2 targets me in cover. Don't care about you whatsoever. I'm on a 3-up. You got AP 3? Oh, okay, you're AP 1. I'm on a 4-up. That's as good as an invulnerable save. AP 3. How much stuff in the game actually has AP 3 in any sort of volume? Not a lot, right? So if I am in a full suit detachment that benefits me greatly for doing it, and I can take 3 units of these Star Scythes, and 3 units of the Sun Forges, and 3 units of whatever the other thing is. I don't know why my brain can't remember that other unit. I have 9 3-mans and 6 commanders that I can take with them because of the rule of 3s. I would love to have something like this, which is I'm going to be aggressive and get within 12 of you or get within 6 of you. And you know what? There's actually a pretty good chance that I'll live because I've got stim injectors, I've got -1 AP, I've got cover, I've got all of these layers which go on to make it so that suits will live for longer than your opponent's expecting them to because they're used to Tau being paper. Absolute paper. Not anymore. Now, yes, we can't take 2 shield drones. Because you can see they've put this double thing on there and under the drone rules on page 77. Where is it? Is it not in these leaks? It might not be. But anyway, you can only equip, spoiler, 1 type of drone each. But, you know, they're still getting a shield. They're 5 wounds. That is a really odd breakpoint. Even a Riptide takes 2 shots to kill 1 Crisis Suit. And as we discussed, the Ion Accelerator Overcharged is on AP 1. We're saving on 4-ups. That's so good. That's so good. They gave us a reason to take the commanders. They've still got the airbursting fragmentation projected. This sucks so bad. GW, what are you doing? The airbursting fragmentation projector sucks unless you want to use the Torch Star Gambit, which is a 1 CP fire and fade, so that you can just shoot something behind a wall. You don't care if you actually hit it, if you kill it or not. You just want to resolve your shooting so that you can fire and fade. Very smart bit of tech, but it does take up a weapon slot. So, you know, grain of salt that as you see fit. Cyclics are on here. You can only take 1 of them. They've got that there. This model cannot have duplicates of this piece of war gear, which is airbursting, battlesuit support system, cyclic, shield generator, weapon support system. And yeah. So cyclics are definitely paying for being the premier tournament gun for like forever. And actually, you know what? On the Tau Tau Empire, not Tau competitive, but on the Tau Empire page, there was actually like a very like shit-eating post where somebody puts on there like me drinking the tears of Sib spammers or meta chasers, sorry. And then below it, Giga Chads who enjoy casual or narrative. I know the players that they're talking about, and I'm not so petty that I don't know that there are meta chasers that are shitty human beings. But for anybody who's actually a high-level tournament player, you know that meta chasing is a necessity to be able to keep up with your peers. And so that is like I've never gone after anybody that enjoys casual or narrative, but I was looking at that, and I'm sitting at work, and just a little part of, I just whispered like oh, fuck you. And then the guy sitting next to me was like, dude, what the fuck? And I had to unfuck that for a little bit. But you know, Sibs had their time in the sun. We took them because they were good. You did that because it was mathematically the best choice. There was a little bit of skill expression, honestly, in knowing when to overcharge and when not to. But this is restricted. That's just the way it is. Cool, no problem. We have other options now. So Enforcer Commanders, great. They've given us a reason to take a version of the best starter sheet that we've had for a long time. Commanders are fantastic. Cadre Fireblade, nothing changed. Nothing needed to. Great. I'm trying to fit them in all of my Preacher units. The 3 that I can take are the Fireblades. Great enhancement holders in Montcar. The evolution of the Grundy maneuver requires them. Barnyard Wargaming. How you doing, buddy? Good to see ya. All right, so, oh my God, I completely forgot to turn on multi-stream so I could see my Twitch chatters. Let me actually open up Twitch so I can catch up with what they're doing. Beal, I swear I'm not ignoring you. As always, you are one of my biggest fans and I love you. Let me just go into my... Monster. Oh my God, no, don't do that. It just tried to play somebody else's stream. I'm sorry, you're going to get a little bit of noise. If you're watching this as a VOD, you never saw anything. Stop gaslighting me. So Dacrez, or I realized from your Discord name that it's probably Dacrez. Sorry for later tenants had major errands. No problem at all, pal. Finally interested in building Kroot. I am too. It's going to be really, really good. Bill No gifted a tier 1 sub to Decrez. Thank you very much, dude. That is 10 gifted subs, you fucking monster. Beal, I'm happy to see Sibs go, but there is no choice when they can be spammed. That's exactly right, and that's where GW have definitely done the right thing. Yeah, moving Sibs away from, the only option. And that was the thing, that they were spammed not because, meta chasers are sweaty idiots who just couldn't see the purists of the missile pods were correct. Plasma's missile pods and a lot of other stuff was actually they were good, they were fine. But when something gets outclassed by the other things, look at the Riptide. Riptide got 15 points taken off it. And all of a sudden, every single Tau player is like, oh my God, I'm going to nut! And then we just started seeing triple Riptide everywhere. And that's something that sometimes stuff is just a little too expensive when it's competing with other stuff. Some profiles are just too good because competitive players will take the 0.1% power increase. We will. We have to. You cannot sit at a table with someone like Kyle Grundy being like, oh yeah, I just went fun and fluffy. My headcanon for my list is that we come from a planet in the second sphere. And so that's why I've got 2 Tau Nars. Kyle will rinse you because of course he's going to. Part of being a competitive player is that you have to meta chase. You have to go for those 0.1% because you want to compete. And it's not like I take some troll shit to advance. I take some troll shit. And I still do well because, I'm a good player. I understand the game. I understand the primary game. I understand board control and staging and screening and all of the base principles that I've been trying to teach you guys for a year and a half now. And that lets me do stuff with units that are less good. But I know that if I go into, Alex and Glazos, or even you look at Jack that is in the stream right now, Barnyard Wargaming. Go and check him out. I played the new Tau book on his stream a couple of nights ago. I can't take a shitter troll list against Jack because his demons, he is so good with his demons. I will not be able to beat him. I have to take good stuff that is achieving an objective that I want because I know if I don't, I am in trouble. And that is just the reality of tournament play. Anyway, that's my second TED Talk. Thank you for coming. Aiden, do you know, I actually put in my Discord that is the most famous and common Australian expression, and I don't know that people believe me. People actually don't know that Australians have never fucked spiders. We are not here to fuck spiders, and no spiders were harmed in the making of this country. I mean, there were. We've killed a lot of them. We have got a lot of houses and, everything else. But anyway, that's not doing my point. We are not here to fuck spiders. Actually, if you want, I'll get that on a merch shirt. You guys can wear that. I think that'd be funny as hell. I'll get a little spider with a Tau face. Jack, you absolutely are. Don't be modest, buddy. That game the other night was very, very good. And yes, the Chargers were banging, but you made some very good decisions. Don't sell yourself short, buddy. All right, so the Ethereal didn't change. CP on a 4-up. Why, GW? Just there are so many things that can do it for free. And even if we take more of them, you can only generate 1 CP per turn. So what? Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Ethereal. Let's move on. Oh my God. Making the crude noises and talking nonstop is actually like, it's making my eyes water from my voice. Oh my God. Oh my God. Masu, I actually hope it does. I really do. Whoa, Nox, one of your friends is here to report him to the police. I'm pretty sure ASIO will go and arrest him if he is admitted to wanting to fuck spiders. That is, yeah. Anyway, Cold Star didn't change. Aside from the 1 SIB or 1 airbursting fragmentation projector, didn't need to. Still the premier datasheet for any crisis suit shenanigans. It is absolutely fantastic. Nox, thank you for the sub, dude. Really appreciate it. Which came from Beal, no. Dude, you are insane. I don't know how you do this. Are you like, okay, and answer me honestly, but don't feel like you have to answer because, you know, privacy and all that. Are you an oil baron? Are you like Chad Huffington, heir to the Huffington Pants fortune? Thank you so much, dude. And Nox, thank you for the follow. All right. Move on from the Cold Star. He's fantastic. I've spoken a lot about him. He works so well with a bunch of the new crisis suits. You're going to take him. You're going to. Get yourself some more commanders. You go, I don't have enough. And I'm staring down the barrel of a Rhett Cadra. I keep saying Cadra. Carter list and realizing I don't have the commanders for it. So, hey, GW, please. The first thing you send me, don't worry about a crew box. I had an awesome patron called Stormcrow, which, by the way, I don't know if I've actually said this on stream. He sent me money for 3 crew boxes. The only proviso being in 6 months to a year, once I've made enough content on it, I have it fully painted, nice and good to go, and I send him the contents of 1 box. Absolute fucking giga Chad. Stormcrow, actually, any of my subs, can you railgun for Stormcrow right now, please? Thank you. Absolute fucking legend. Darkstrider will be in every list you write. Not even going to sugarcoat it, he will be in every list you write. Darkstrider, the Grundy maneuver, denying 12-inch bubble of reserves and everything, too good. Too good not to take. Way too good. You will have him in every list. Enough said. He didn't change. He didn't need to. Strike team. Oh, I said it before and it was a TLDR. Guys, I wanted strikes to be good. Please know I wanted strikes to be good. I was so rooting for you. I can't ever take these guys. And if I do, it's because I got a spare couple of points and I want to troll someone. They had their ability change, the Overwatch ability that sucked in your shooting phase after this unit is shot. It's like 1 enemy infantry unit hit by them. Like, why restrict it to just infantry? But anyway, they're suppressed. While they're suppressed, -1 to hit. I would consider this unit if it wasn't just infantry. There is too much stuff that is vehicles or monsters or beasts. You can't suppress crude hounds. Why? Pulse carbines, no AP. They're 20 inches. Oh, sorry, pulse rifles, I'll talk about them. They're 30 inches. Rapid fire 1, 30 inches. Just, this unit is just so meh. Especially when you line them up with the love of my life. Let me just. Do you see these beautiful, sexy, sitting there looking like a snack and not realizing they a snack breeches? When I have a mod car detachment and I look at where I'm going to build it, do you know the first thing that pops into my head? Also, do you know how hard it is to write a list with a full-on erection when you're sitting at work or on the train or on the bus or just at your grandma's place? Do you know the struggle of having these pricks, these playing hard to get, holding their little shotguns in the most tantalizing way possible? Do you know what that's like? Masu, these are the guys that your girl tells you are friends that you don't need to worry about. Bro, you got to worry about them. They're going after your girl. And let me show you why. Do you remember I was talking about that enhancement where you get +1 OC when you're on that point? You just pick it at the start of the battle. They're OC2. You take them in a unit of 10. That's 20 OC. No, sir, that's 30 OC sitting on that point. It actually came up in the game against Jack on stream where on that center objective, he should have been able to take it from me. But through the power of Space Jesus, the greater good, and that enhancement, I just held it. I gave him a 0 turn of primary when I shouldn't have. He did everything right. And stupid damn breaches being immune to vomit. It just, -1 to wound is actually surprisingly good. You can -1 damage them, which you never will because they're 1 wound, but just as a flex on your opponent to assert dominance. And they didn't change. 2 attacks, 10 inches. Ballistic skill 3. Strength 6, AP 1, damage 1. Reroll all wounds on an enemy unit that's in range of an objective marker. I was playing these guys at 120 points and they were good. They will not stay there. Spoiler, that's the points that they are in the book. But that book is not correct. That will get changed. They stay at 90 points, which they should, because that is the mark that they need to be at. GW, if you're watching this, you and me, right here. I saved you once. Breaches went to 90. They were great. Everybody loved you for it. You were universally celebrated. If you're thinking like, oh, maybe we'll put them at 100. Stop it. Stop it right there. Just do your little typey thing. Delete the 1 0 and just put a 9 in front of that last remaining 0. That is the perfect mark. These boys are incredible because they're at 90 points. But anyway, I think it is widely documented, my feeling on breaches. From battle sector to everything else that I've done. These will be the backbone of almost any non-retaliation card list. Let's move on. Sunforge, Fire Knife, and Star Scythe. Again, GW, just... that naming is fantastic. I know it's an old naming convention, but thank you for bringing it back. As a 9th baby, thank you for letting me experience some of the older times where these names were cool as fuck. Sunforge kept the 4-up invulnerable save. They have fusion blasters and fusion blasters only. You can take a gun drone, a marker drone, or a shield drone, and not duplicates. And it says actually there, you don't need the drone rules. And it can be equipped with up to 2 of the following, but cannot take duplicates. You will take a shield drone. You will take a gun drone on at least 1. And you will take a marker drone on at least 1. Now, why do I say that? When you are playing a retaliation Carder list, oh my God, it's stuck in my brain. Carder, you will need additional guiders. Your pathfinders will die, your stealth suits will die, and you can only take 3 of them. Having the ability for another unit to guide and give someone ignore cover is fantastic. You will just do it. You will thank me later. It is not really a contested slot. Gun drones are giving you assault, but that's not That's not, gun drones aren't why you take them. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to be hitting you on 5s and I'm going to be strength 5 with AP 0. And that means your demon prince is dead. You're not. You're doing it for assault. So 1 gun, 1 marker, shields on everybody in the 3rd slot, fill it in with whatever you want, to quote Chelsea. She's going to kill me for making that joke. Nothing. I said I love you. All right. So, shh. Fire knives. They are your missile pod or plasma. They can take 2 missile pods, 2 plasmas, or 1 of each. Again, same stuff. Each time... Oh, sorry. I should have gone through the Sunforged properly. They have Deep Strike, and every time you attack a model... a ranged attack into a monster or vehicle, reroll the wound roll and reroll the damage roll. I use these against Jack and his big demons. They put in work. I loved it. They were so good. And also dropped a Bloodthirster in Overwatch to 6 wounds. Because in the Montcar detachment, Overwatch you only hit on 6s. On 6s you have lethal hits. Any hit in Overwatch is immediately a wound. It is so good. Anyway, Sunforgers, I think, are really going to be a part of most lists. Though, at the points that I've seen them from in the book, if that doesn't change, they will compete with things like Riptides and that sort of stuff for... they're not really strictly anti-tank because they're only strength 9. They will go to strength 10 if they're in the retaliation detachment. But the reroll wounds against monsters and vehicles make them an enticing choice. Because full rerolls to wound, and if you're in Montcar, getting... lethal hits, which is another layer, and you've got reroll 1s to hit and wound from stealth suits or whatever. There's just a lot to love about them. Even with only 2 guns, GW have found a way to make these still enticing. Especially if you've got 3 of them running around. Anyway, fire knives. A unit that I think you will take probably 1 of, but you might not take duplicates. Their big thing, missile pods, 30 inches, plasma rifle. Oh my God. Okay. Lloyd, this one's for you. You asked for this. GW, I have been racking my brain with why you reduce them to 24 and then again 18. The plasma rifles were fine at 24. Honestly, they were fine at 30. I get why they're not 30 anymore because the missile pods, 2 attacks isn't enough to make up for the, strength 8, damage 3. AP 3, damage 3. Dropping the plasma rifles to 24, I think, was the mark. GW, why 18? Why? I get it. We're going to be, these guys in Retaliation Carter are going to be good. You're going to be maybe that close anyway, but fire knives you have designed as long-range support. You're going to take missile pods. Spoiler alert. You're just straight up going to take missile pods. At 30 inches, 2 attacks each. They're marine killers. That's what you want. Plasma rifles were good as Terminator killers at 24. But 18, yes, you'll be able to get in range of that. That's not a problem. We did it with the Sibs. But there's probably other units you want to fire and fade because you've got other close range battle suits that are wanting to do fire and fade sort of stuff. Yeah, you're going to be taking missile pods. Spoilers. Fire knife. Each time mod on the unit makes a range attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. If that attack targets a unit that is at its starting strength, reroll the hit roll. Really good. Really good. That fire knife ability is just amazing. You will also take a marker drone on them because they with that ability, they are a great guiding unit. They just natively reroll 1s to hit, giving you, if you stay on that 4+, you're not taking hit roll modifiers. Oh, no, sorry. Weapon support system, you ignore any or all hit modifiers, which for the newer players that are watching this, that means you choose the things that you ignore. So if you've got positives to hit, this ability doesn't remove those. Any or all means that you can choose the ones you want. So you just ignore the negative ones, choose the positive ones. If you're like me and you're trolling people with the troll list, I then go, cool, I'm not going to ignore your -1 to hit, but I am going to ignore my +1 to hit and watch their face just kind of like, you know, eyes bulge out, bloodshot, not realizing what's going on. But anyway, one of these, great. I'll see if they make if more of them come into a list when I finally make an all battlesuit list. But even in Montcar, I'm considering one of these guys as well. Because missile pods with reroll 1s to hit or full rerolls if they're at starting strength, which remember, you can guide somebody onto somebody else and then go, hello, my target, 4s, full rerolls, 75% chance to hit. And with full rerolls, you can fish for 6s in Montcar. Anyway. If you get them close enough, missile pods are strength 8, AP 2, damage 2, by the way. And then star sides, I spoke a little bit about these before. Okay, excuse me, sorry, my little boy is crying like he's dying at my door. I'm going to bring him in so he can say hi. Is everybody okay if Mushu comes in and says hello? He's feeling a little bit, you know, daddy-oriented at the moment. I started saying daddy is like an ironic thing for those pet parents, and then I turned into that dog dad. So I will be back in just a second, okay? I did hear him. Come here, little boy. Here we go. Do you want to say hello to the Talvar? Do you want to say hello to the Talvar?
Oh, that's what you heard him. He's still on stream.
Yeah. See, here's my boy. Here's my boy. Can you not lick my arm on camera? So you licked my nose. That went up my nostril, little boy. Hey?
He was out the front.
I'm going to Lion King him. Ha! Tsvenya! Wawa beatsy wawa. Hey yo! Hey, little boy. You okay now? Stop. I love you. All right, so this is my little crude hound. And yes, for anybody wondering, he will be going on a shirt as a crude hound and as a battlesuit pilot. And I'm going to call it... Wait, what did I call it, Chelly? The Greater Goodest Boy. But if you would buy that shirt, please tell me, because I will make it, like, immediately. I will contact an artist immediately.
Just has not stopped licking you.
Okay, you all right, little boy? Miss, you can have a kiss? Thank you, baby. There you go. No more crying. All right. The fluffy Shazvra. I love that. Oh my God, the Kroot Hound version of him will be the greater goodest boy, and the battlesuit pilot version of him will be the fluffy Shazvra. I love that. Charlie, can you write that down? We're doing it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's get back to the review. All right. So, Star Scythe, great. I've already spoken about this in the Retaliation Carter part of the piece. We can get AP2 Flamers or Burst Cannons. Now, I am favoring the Flamer. One, because with a marker drone, do you see where I'm saying to take marker drones? They guide for somebody else and then just auto hit onto somebody. Just take it. Just take it right in your face. Oh my God. Does Mushu gain 1 OC when within 12 inches of his dad? Oh, that is the best reference to this codex I've heard. Oh. All right, Jono, you win this stream. Well played, sir. Well played. And yes, he does. The Starside ability, -1 AP, even if they're not in the Retaliation Carter. I am actually considering these guys maybe for Montcar, because I got burst cannons where I'm firing 8 shots per model, which is 24 shots that is, you know, lethal hits, AP 1. Eligible to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. Oh my goodness. They made crisis suits banging. They removed the obnoxiousness that was the Sibs, and let's just call that what it is. The post about the, you know, fuck you meta chasers was hurtful, but The Sibs are gone. And what they've left us with is legitimately exciting. Yes, we lost a weapon. Yes, you can class that as a nerf. But the data sheet abilities for every single one of them are solid. GW, can I please get a round of applause for GW, who's been fucking nailing it? Even Mushu's like paying attention to that. Yeah, little boy, GW did good. Can you stop licking my leg though? You don't look at me like you pay rent. All right. Crisis suits, great. They have a place in almost every list. Like you look at this, even in a Kroot list where you've got crisis suits supporting them, you got AP1 flamers everywhere. You got fire knives with full rerolls to hit, giving long-range fire support to the Kroot. You got Sunforgers popping up and just going, goodbye, get off my table. Great. Oh, guys, all right. We are on to the big surprise of the entire league. Stealths, nothing else changed but what I'm about to talk about. Each time they observe, the model that they are guiding rerolls a hit roll of 1 and a wound roll of 1. Are you guys seeing from the stuff that I've read out that they have found a way to fix the Tetra problem? Before, every list had Tetras, and you were a wild weirdo looking at you, Kyle Grundy, for making a list without them. You were breaking convention. Now, we have a bunch of options to get rerolls. We have a bunch of units that don't need Tetras to function. That's pretty freaking great. Like, would anybody like to disagree with me? That is pretty freaking great. Anyway, stealth suits are great. I'm going to be buying some more of them. I realized I don't have enough. Taka, my boy, when you're watching this on the VOD later, I will get the ones that you gifted me finally painted up. He actually did for me the old school stealth suits where like they chopped off their arms and they attached a burst cannon to it. And like it would literally be that like Iron Hands are looking at them like, I think I'm about to become a Gwelar. Because it's just like most of their arm is a friggin' burst cannon. So Loopy, I know what the points are supposed to be right now. I'm not going to show them on this stream because I don't think that would be productive. Because I think there's already enough people who get the wrong idea and all it takes is for one stupid motherfucker to screenshot that, put it all over forums, go, oh, I'll say again because I said it at the start of the stream. We are going to get a Munitorium field manual at the start, 2 weeks after official Codex launch. They will adjust our points. The book points, the ones that you get, are not the points that we are going to be playing on. Once we get that MFM, and this was a question in the Facebook, our book won't be tournament legal until those points come through. So it's not even like you'll be able to take them to GTs and stuff. TOs, as part of the ITC circuit or whatever, should not be letting Tau from the new book into tournaments until those points come out. I mean, if they do, really, the Tau player is going to be playing down, and so whatever. It's not like Votan that was going to come out and just rinse everything, or Leviathan Nids, or Necrons, or wow, we have a bad habit of letting stuff come out broken. But they still got all the stuff that you want. The Rapid Ingress for 0 CP, Retaliation Carter. You have 1 unit Rapid Ingress ready to go, Farsight's unit, for example, with a 0 CP Rapid Ingress. And then you go, cool, I didn't have to spend on that. 2 CP, bang, somebody comes down within 3. 10d6 Flamers at AP2. Because I hate you and your entire family. Or join the greater good, whichever one you think would be better. Oh. You're popping a deadly demise on a stealth suit unit, their battle suit. You can suicide them in and blow them up. Anyway. Ghost skills didn't change, and I'm so glad they didn't. They didn't need to. They are still fantastic. They are still a great option to give your opponent stuff that they don't want to interact with. Ghost skills didn't need to change. GW, thank you for not changing them. We got it right the first time. Let's keep that trend going. Also, you're welcome. Now we get on to the Kroot, my boys. And by the way, for anybody who's been like posting publicly a bunch of like fuck the Kroot and all that sort of stuff, unless it's a meme and you're taking the piss, which as a Catachanian I get. Seriously, like fuck off and let people enjoy their stuff. Just because somebody else brings joy from something and you're not interested doesn't mean you should shit all over it. You shell of a human being. Anyway, the Shapers have been broken up into 3 different data sheets, which is great. Trail Shaper, Flesh Shaper, War Shaper. So what do? We look at their base profile and everything is the same. Movement 7, T3, 6 up save, 3 wounds, 7 leadership, 1 OC. Infiltrator, leader, scout 7, stealth. Okay, nice. That is a good set of abilities for characters to have. Now, bear in mind, if you attach them to a unit that doesn't have the infiltrate keyword or infiltrate ability, you will not be able to infiltrate that unit. All members of the unit must have it. Leaders do not confer their ability unless it directly says as a datasheet ability. Units will confer their abilities onto their leaders. But I believe in the core rules, infiltrate ignores all of that stuff and they must have both. But anyway, they must both have it. Kroot Trail Shapers are what we know the Shapers to be previously. They have a Kroot Rifle Shaper's Blade. Cool. What have they been given? Whenever a unit ends within 9 of you from normal, advance, or fallback, they are able to make a reactive move. Notice that it doesn't say set up as reserves. Now, this is interesting because in the core rules, when a unit comes in from reserves, it always counts as having made a normal move, but there was a ruling that doesn't, from GW, by the way, that will not trigger reactive moves. You count as having made a normal move, but you do not count as having moved. It's a weird duality. I get it. But reactive moves off moves only, not being set up from reserves in any of its forms. If they're not an engagement, make a normal move of up to D6. It seems they learned their lesson from Phantasm. Not just giving them an auto 6, but a D6. I think that's perfectly fair. It's perfectly powerful, especially to move big units or units with a lower movement category. Or put them in units that are already going fast and make them go even faster. Because don't forget, you can do that to be like right in front of an objective. And if your opponent walks onto the objective, you walk into them. Also notice that it says normal move. That means you cannot end within engagement range of units. So be aware of that restriction. Kroot Ambush. After both players have deployed their armies, pick you and one other friendly Kroot unit. You can be placed into strategic reserves. Now, bear in mind that it says regardless of how many units are already in strategic reserves. This gets around the, only 500 points of your army or 25% in terms of the number of models. And it also means that because you've gone in there after deployment, it should, I think, and I'm happy to be wrong on this, it should get around the you must come in before turn 3. But I don't know if that only counts after the battle has started and something goes into strat reserves. It might be, I will read that up and I'll clarify it in a future video because I will be talking about Kroot. But just bear in mind that it may or may not. Double check with your TO, your opponent, or read it up yourself. Don't get caught out by that if they will be destroyed and think that they're safe. Having said that, I don't see me having a unit off the board for 5 turns. That feels kind of bad. But anyway, that's our Kroot Trail Shaper. They are all about trail. They are about moving fast. And I believe their enhancement was the one that allows them to increase their move by 3 and give their guns assault, which is kind of cool. Flesh Shaper. Shape that flesh. What I did in my 20s. So, same basic profile, but they have a scattergun, which is assault, range 12, 2 attacks, and then just basically a Kroot rifle. It's just 1 extra shot, half the range. And then twin ritualistic blades, which are twin linked. How, I don't know, but he'll be re-rolling wounds. 4 attacks on 2s, which is, look at that for the Kroot. On 2s, very nice. Strength 5, AP 1, damage 1. While he's leading a unit, everybody in that unit has sustained 1 on their melee weapons. And while he's leading them, they have the 6-up Feel No Pain, Feel No Pain 6+ ability, but if they destroy a unit, they get a 5+. This is what we spent for CP in 9th. Honestly, I think this guy's really good. I think he's really good. I don't think there's much more to say than that. He will be a character that you'll probably want to fit in somewhere. Warshaper. Dart Bow and Tri-Blade might be my favorite weapon that they have. It's anti-infantry 3+, assault and heavy, D3 +1 attacks, and then 2 damage. Now, there's not a lot else that I think that you tack onto that, so I don't think you're able to do that with Dev Wounds. AP0 is meh, but at the end of the day, if you're doing something like, for example, tagging somebody with another Kroot unit, okay, I'm giving you -1 AP for my entire army targeting that unit, that could actually be okay. I find with character weapons, though, they're force multipliers. They're not something you rely on. Then we've got his melee weapons, Blade Stave and Prey Hook, lethal hits, and Shaper's Blade. We can see he comes with the Shaper's Blade at base, and we have to give up his Dart Blow and Tri-Blade to take the Blade Stave and Prey Hook. Honestly, I don't know which one's going to be better. Obviously, taking that, it's weird that we have to give up the ranged weapon to get that, but nothing has extra attacks. That feels weird. You're like, okay, I'm giving up my ranged weapon, and also I'm not going to attack with my other melee weapon that I've equipped. Why? But anyway, he will have a pistol, if that makes you feel better. But War Leader, this is our 0 CP. Once per battle, start of any phase, you can select 1 Kroot unit that is battle shocked. Within 12 of this model, that unit is no longer battle shocked. Now, units that start your command phase battle shocked, you can remove. But if they would otherwise have to take another battle shock test, during the battle shock step, they will have to go again. If they're battle shocked, then you work out whether you control objectives and score primary, then it's the start of the movement phase, then you can clear it. This doesn't get you to go, oh, I failed my battle shock, he's going to make me not battle shocked. It is the start of any phase. The battle shock step is not a phase. It is a step within the command phase. Don't get that twisted. Very, very important. It is a powerful ability, but it is not a catch-all. I'm just going to clear that off. It is still very powerful, but I can see this getting misunderstood and misused. So please don't misunderstand it. Please don't misuse it. Let's go on to the Kroot Lone Spear, which is a fully brand new character. Not based on anything that was in 9th or in 10th. 12-inch move, T5, 5-up save, 6 wounds, leadership 7, OC 2, lone op, scout 7, and stealth. Are you noticing a theme with stealth with the Kroot? Probably going to notice that a lot. He either has a choice of a blast javelin, which he comes naturally equipped with the Kroot long gun, but he can replace the long gun with a blast javelin and a hunting javelin. So, blast javelin, assault, blast, 18-inch, D6 attacks, ballistic skill 4, strength 10, AP2, damage 2, Kroot long gun, heavy and precision, 1 attack, strength 6, AP2, damage 3. Melee weapons, the hunting javelin has lance, which is really nice for a strength 4 weapon. Calamandra's Bite, which great name, by the way. That's the thing he's riding. He's on a Calamandra, which I believe is a new species for the Kroot as far as the tabletop models go. Extra attacks, 4 attacks, strength 5, AP 1, damage 1. Now, in my opinion, you will always take the blast javelin and the hunting javelin. Why do I say that? Let's look at his abilities. Each time it makes a ranged attack that hits an enemy unit, until the end of the turn, each time another Kroot model from your army makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, you can reroll the hit roll. So, for example, if you were to have this Kroot Lone Spear attack that unit, you hit it, they have full rerolls to hit, and you go, cool, I'm going to spend 1 CP. Everything else that targets that model. Let's say it's a big knight. has reroll all hits and -1 AP. Not bad. Not bad. The other side of it is that you need to hit with that. The Cruit Long Gun, yes, it's a 3, but you've got one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted with Mum Spaghetti. Do you want to gamble getting full rerolls to hit -1 AP from your army on one shot? Yes, it'll happen on the Blast Javelin. You cannot avoid that. You're going to roll once. But not like you have a 1 in 6 of doing that. 1 out of 6 games, you will roll that one. Oh, I guess, sorry. 1 out of 6 activations. Which actually, no, it is 1 out of 6 games. 1 out of 6 games because you've only got 5 rounds in there, and I doubt you're going to Overwatch with him. So that, and then Strength 10 AP2 damage 3 is so much better than Strength 6 AP2 damage 3. Yes, it's 1 extra point of damage, but it's 1 shot. Then Fire and Fade in shooting phase after this model is shot, if it's not within engagement range, move 6. Straight up. This Lone Spear, if he is not too aggressively costed, is going to be a great addition to any Crude army, and is one of the things that will make the Crude hunting pack work well as a damaging list, just as well as it is a swarm and scoring. Not as good as the Tau stuff, not as good as the battle suits, but just as good. Just as good as you would hope for a swarm list to be able to do damage-wise. And gives a lot more utility than I've seen from like a NIDS swarm list. Crew Carnivores, our meat and potatoes. I'm sorry, Americans. I don't know why I just did that. Same as the characters, honestly, except for the wounds. Movement 7, T3, 6 up, save, 1 wound, leadership 7+, OC2, don't forget, if we put him in their detachment, they have a 5 up invulnerable against shooting and a 6 up against melee. Scout 7, stealth. Tangle Bomb Launcher is obviously the new thing that we're looking at. There's a Crew Carbine, which the Long Quill is able to take if we wish. They're fine. The big thing is for every 10 models in the unit, you can replace that Tangle Bomb. You can replace the Crew Rifle with a Tangle Bomb. And if the unit has a starting strength of 20, you can take 2 leaders, but no duplicates. So a War Shaper and a Trail Shaper. A Flesh Shaper and a Trail Shaper. Whatever. If you do and this unit's destroyed, the leader units attached to it become separate units with their original starting strengths. This is to stop the argument that those 2 characters stay together in the same unit. They split off, they're their own units, bodyguard's gone, cool, no problem. George Cook, thank you for being here. Rewatch the rest tomorrow. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for catching the stream. And to future George Cook, hey buddy, hope your sleep was good. Anyway, Crew Carnivores are going to make up the bulk of our Crute lists. If they're not too aggressively costed, there's also a world where these find their way into other Tau lists because there's some great stuff we can do with them. I loved running Crute in 9th when they were super cheap. They were just tech units. I really loved it. We'll go down that specific page. Crutox Riders with a brand new model. These things look amazing. I'm really excited for these. T6, 5 up save, 5 wounds, all that sort of stuff. Scout 7, no stealth on these boys. But one thing I do want to point out, remember how I said there's grenades on everything? Except the Crude Hounds. Crude Hounds aren't going to have grenades. Oh, Chur! We have a Kiwi in the chat. The only people I know that say Chur are Kiwis. Or people that are friends with nothing but Kiwis. But anyway, greetings. Vermonte or Vermont, however you go, welcome. Greetings from Berlin. Yeah, welcome. And George, I thought you might be. Oh, Barra, don't be like that. That is the first thing that everybody says to Kiwis. And yes, it's funny. And yes, as an Australian, I condone it. But also, let the man just exist. I actually love New Zealand. I've been trying to get Chelsea to let me move to New Zealand for ages. And she keeps like, all of our friends are here and our family's here and new jobs here and the tournament circuit's there. Pfft. Details. So, these guys, the big thing, repeater cannon, tangle cannon will be your choice. I I haven't developed an opinion yet on what I think the correct option will be. What I will say is that Tangle Cannon, if you find yourself going into hordes, Blast is going to be pretty huge. Rapid Fire is also nice to get 4 shots of damage too. You're basically shooting a missile pod at them, and you've got 2 missile pods, so you're equipped like a crisis suit. If these guys are cheap, that might actually be the go. Krutox Fists have extra attacks, so you're making 6 attacks, 4 of them at strength 6 AP1 damage too, so you will actually want to throw these guys at people. Krut Packmates. Once per turn, basically, when a friendly Krut infantry that's within 6 of this gets shot, once they finish shooting them, this Krutox rider shoots back at them. Now, only 1 Krutox rider per enemy shooting phase can do this, once per turn. I don't know that I like that restriction. It might be too much to just have maybe in one activation, 1 Krutox rider. I do love of overlapping fields of fire support, but I could see where that'd be obnoxious. I honestly can see, especially because you can have 3 of them. So you can have a crisis unit looking at them being like, shoot at them. I goddamn dare you. And don't forget, they are a friendly Krut infantry. Oh, no, sorry. No, they're not infantry. I caught myself up. I caught it. Chill. They can't shoot when you shoot them. But if they're shooting you rather than, say, a Krut Carnivore unit, you're T6 with 5 wounds each model. You are a crisis suit, but a broadside's, exterior. That's kind of a win. Shoot at my Krutox Riders, not my 20 Krut Carnivores, and 20 Krut Carnivores charge you and then get into melee. So, better than the Canberra attacks? Oh, hell yeah. Also, I do know about NZ getting absolutely raked with a K, by the way, on pricing for GW stuff. They have it even worse than us, somehow. Krutox Rampages, our new boys, our young studs running forward to grab some of that Space Marine beeve. Let's have a look at them. I am assuming that points are decent, and you'll notice that I'm making that point a lot. GW, points need to be decent. Movement 7, T6, 5 wounds. They are functionally a Krutox, though we know from the lore that the Krutox riders pick adult Krutox because they calm down. Much like human beings, juvenile Krutoxes are aggressive, overconfident, and generally will be out looking for fights. Oh boy, doesn't that sound familiar? They have a Krut Pistol and Hunting Javelins, which are assault and pistol, which is actually nice because your Rampages can jump into melee, which is their job, and not worry about it. Very good job, GW. Golf clap. Then we've got melee weapons, Hunting Blades with Lance, Rampage's Fists, which are extra attacks and sustained 1. All of their weapons have AP. The Rampager Fists are strength 6, AP1, damage 2. Scout 7, no stealth, which kind of makes sense for the Krutox. They're loud, they're burly, they're breaking down brush rather than moving through it. It makes sense. Each time this unit ends a charge move, select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of it. Then roll 1d6 for each model in this unit, your Rampager unit, that is within engagement range of that enemy unit. Note, not eligible to fight within engagement range, which is within 1 inch. If you've got a model that is fighting, that is base to base with one of your models that is base to base with them, they are eligible to fight, but they are not in engagement range. If you want the mortal wounds, if you want to roll 3 to 6 dice to do D3 mortal wounds, you must have every model from your unit within one of the enemy unit. On a 4-up, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If one or more enemy models are destroyed as a result of these mortal wounds, that enemy unit must take a battle shock test. That is incredible because you throw these guys into Custodes. Oh, you wanted to fight first? Nah, bro. Somehow, through the 4-up feel no pain and everything else, I actually killed a model because I shot at you first, got you to 1 wound, killed a dude with one of the mortals, battle shock test. Oh, the 20% chance that you fail because you're friggin' stodes. You did. No fight first for you. No fight first. Not bad. Won't happen all the time into Stodes, but it will be good against units that, for example, fight on death. Orcs don't have crazy leadership. You battle shock them. When they die, they are still counted as battle shocked until the unit is off the board and removed. And even when they're off the board as specters, they still count as battle shocked for anything that would bring them back. Imperial Guard. If you charge into a unit and they want to bring it back with 2 CP, no sir. You are battle shocked. I killed your unit. Get off my board. Pretty good. I love these guys. If they are not aggressively pointed, I love these guys. Holy shit, we have 58 people here. Welcome, Shas. I have had to calm down a little bit because my voice is a little fucked because I made croot noises and it almost made me cry. But go back and watch it as a VOD. It's very entertaining. One thing I'm going to do, because I am dying a little bit, I am going to take a quick break. So we will get into the rest of the croot, all of the other units, and then I'll be giving you a rundown of units that I'm going to plug into certain lists and archetypes that I think are going to do well and that I will be testing for the start of the Tau Codex meta. I will also unprecedentedly share with you the list that I ran against Jack and give you an idea of what I think is the strongest archetype we're going to run into. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back and I'll leave you with some soothing music. All right, Shas. Are you ready? Are you all ready for this? Let's cancel the elevator music, as it's called. Thank you, Masu, you asshole. So, let's then go to the fluffiest boys. Let's go to Mushu. Mushu has a 12-inch move, toughness 3, 6 up save, 1 wound, leadership 8. OC 0. We were expecting all of this. I don't like that they have OC 0 and they've taken something away and been like, oh, look, if he's in range of a character, you get OC 1. Where if he's within 12, it's fine. Loping Pounce, they're Scout 7 stealth. Loping Pounce, when they're within 6 of one or more friendly crit infantry units, until the end of the turn, they're eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. While they're within 12 of one or more friendly crit character models, the objective control characteristic becomes 1. So you can have 5 to 10 OC on an objective. If you're in Montcar, you can have them as OC 2 if you do this. Now, let me point out that this Lone Spear exists. Crute, character. Right there, run him up. This guy's already forward. And then these guys go with him. He fires and fades backwards. Just into enough range to give him OC. Or maybe even not, depending on what you're doing. But he will be able to give them advance and charge. Your other guys will be going fast with Scout 7. Advance and charge. There is a lot of ways that you can go. Now, do you want to charge them into everything? No, they are paper. You will have a 6-up save because generally speaking, you'll be in melee, so 6-up invulnerable. Great streams, should do this more often, learning a lot. I find these streams are very good when there's new stuff. On some of the older stuff, it is good for people that haven't seen it before, but it does become very, very samey for people that have been watching me for a while. So I do try to save these sorts of things where there's a decent chunk of information, so it doesn't become that, because I don't ever want somebody to see one of my streams or my videos and be like, oh my God, this guy crapping on about it again. I got close with breaches. I did. But, you know, they're incredible and they're the love of my life. Sorry, Jelly. So, Crude Hounds, we will be seeing a lot in Montcar detachments and in the Crute detachments because there's a lot of reasons to take them. Also, the new sculpt actually does look very, very good. Now, for whatever reason, they redid Crute Carnivores and Crute Tox Riders in this thing. And to whoever the leaker was, you really, really did me a disservice by not giving me the bottom of the pages. Could you, like, from a customer service standpoint, this thing that you gave me early for free really could have been better quality. I would like to speak to your manager. Let's move on. Crute Fast Stalkers. These guys with infiltrators and stealth, I think are going to be one of the best places to put the character that has the 12-inch deep strike bubble. Because everybody else has a Scout 7, but if you would like to have this so that you can use that infiltrate 12-inch bubble of you can't put anything here, then you put them in the Fast Stalkers. If you go into an army and you're like, hey, what infiltrate do you have? And they go, oh, nothing, I have to deploy my deployment zone. Maybe you don't put him in the Fast Stalkers and you flex something else. But Fast Stalkers will be great for that. They're also really good for some of the other stuff where, you put a Pekra or a Peshra in there. They've got to ignore cover. Start of the battle, select a unit from your opponent's army. You got lethal hits and precision. That's just really nice to have on top of some of the other bonuses that we can see that you've given them. And they've got some good weapon options. They are honestly great. And it really makes me sad that I didn't buy 3 of these boxes. But anyway, Fast Stalkers, great. I think you will see them in almost every single Crute list. Now let's move back to my normal Tau. Let's move back to my other boys. Piranhas, nothing changed, nothing needed to. I'll just leave it at that. Broadsides, still have their 4-up feel no pain against mortals because why? But they didn't change. Except for the... Any number of models can be equipped with these, and they can take duplicates. So these guys, you can go double shield, though that does open you up to bring it down stuff, because you take them from 8 wounds, and then you pass the threshold of the 9 wound upper limit, and then you go into the 10 to 14 bracket. The unfortunate plasma nerf too, yes. Twin plasma rifles are 18 on a long-range support unit. Anyway. Okay. Jay's not going to hit anything. Now, one thing that I would like to look at. Somebody asked in the chat before. Somebody asked on Facebook. And I'll be going through all of those questions in a little bit. The high-yield missile pods for the broadsides. Assuming, and I know I'm saying this a lot, but please forgive me, assuming the broadsides aren't aggressively pointed. And even we see them at the points that they were. 6 shots off one dude. And where is their weapon options to change out? They can get 1 high yield missile pod. So they go from 2 shots with the rails to 6 with high yield. You take 3 of them and you've got 18 shots. You go into, like, obviously everybody goes, oh, we'll cow yun. And it's like, yeah, but you're not going to use it for most of the game. You go into Montcar. Or, even better, now they don't have deep strike, so you can't do any of that stuff. They'll come in from strat reserve, but the retaliation Carter, you walk them onto the board within that 12 inches of somebody, and they're strength 8 missile pods. I think that they're better in the Montcar detachment, but anyway, 18 attacks from these guys of lethal hits, strength 7, AP1, damage 2, in Montcar paying for an additional point of AP to be AP2, ignoring cover with our army rule, lethal hits and full rerolls to wound, that actually moves into scary category. Now, the problem is that you are investing so many points into this unit. You are investing so many points. And that is where I come to a point where I'm like, okay, if I had 2 of them, for example, which we've taken units of 2 broadsides all the time, 12 attacks at that, I think I fuck with that. I really think I fuck with that. I don't think I would take 1, because if I was going to invest those points anyway, I think I can do better than that. But that's actually not terrible. It's a 30-inch range, which you can make work. Just be aware that there's 5-inch movement. But in the Montcar detachment, you spend 1 CP to just go, cool, I'm going to auto 6. My broadsides are moving 11. And I've got a gun drone in the unit, so I've got assault. So when they're guided, all of their guns have assault. You then have a missile drone, as well as the high yield missile pods, which, by the way, just a bone to pick as a veteran. GW, when you say high yield, the yield on something is the strength of the explosion. So if these are the exact same as just normal missile pods, but they have more attacks, high yield isn't what we go for. And to be honest, I would have loved if these were like, you know, strength 8, AP2, damage 2. That would make them high yield. That would make them better than the normal missile pods and make sense to be on a unit of broadsides. Now, do I like the missile hands? Kind of goofy and funny. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like it. I think that the play with these guys will be to, maybe move off the twin plasma rifle and go twin smart missile system and the Seeker missile. But that's just my gut instinct. Because they also ignore any or all hit modifiers, so you don't suffer for the indirect fire. It's whatever. So, yeah. High yield doesn't look bad. Heavy rail doesn't look bad. This will need testing. But I think that they are a great either MSU deleter or your anti-tank options. So, Riptide. Now, I'm gonna I'm gonna full disclosure, you guys. I can't believe where the points started at in the index, because the points that are in the book are the points that Riptide started at in the index and needed to go down twice to become playable. GW, why didn't its guns change? Where are our keywords? Why did they cop a nerf with the 18-inch twin plasma rifle, but then not gain anything? Anti-infantry on the heavy burst cannon. Anti-vehicle monster on the ion accelerator. What is our Riptide's niche? Now, I know that we were putting in work with them at the end of 10th. At the end of the index. But it has no identity, and you didn't give us an interesting Nova charge. We use it because it's cheap and it's 4 damage. We don't use it because it's interesting. We want to love the things that we're using. And yes, it has fall back and shoot. Yes, it ignores any or all hit modifiers. It didn't change. But the other ones where I've said it didn't change, but it didn't need to. The Riptide is not among them. It is a great mid-board bully. Don't get me wrong. It is a great, piece that you run up. But it confuses new players or players that don't understand the army as well as, players like me and Kyle and Siegs and whatever else. Like, we know that this is not a fire support platform. Well, it is fire support, but it's a force multiplier. We don't rely on it. It's swingy. We use it in these different ways to control a board or bully somebody or just throw at somebody and be like, all right, you can try and unfuck this situation. And while you're doing that, we're going to do other stuff on the other side of the board. It just needs, you could change the Nova ability to be a little more interesting than once per game, you got devastating wounds. And on a 6-shot gun that doesn't ever really do anything, or a heavy burst cannon where you're going to get maybe 2 dev wounds, it's hard to fall in love with. It's hard to feel good about this. And also, can I point out, Kyle pointed this stuff out and it was wild. Can we standardize the twin smart missile system? 3 shots on the Riptide. 4 shots on the broadside. Are you trying to make us hemorrhage from our brains? We have enough to track during a game. The last thing I want is for my opponent to be like, oh, why did you fire 4 shots instead of 3 on the data sheet? And then act like I was cheating them, when in actual fact there are 5 different goddamn profiles. Anyway, I'm not going to lose it. 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 The twin smart missile system is apparently the same as the smart missile system on the hammerheads. And they can take 2 of them and go to 6. Someone explain. Anyway, whoever took this picture of the hammerhead, I would like to speak to your manager. This is terrible. My free leak is not clear and easy to see. What's up?
Oh, nothing. I'm just coming in.
Oh, okay. The hammerhead has not changed. If you're shooting at stuff without an invuln, it's great. The ion cannon. Do you know what's funny? That I never looked at the ion cannon during all of the index. Now, with Sibs not being a thing at all, to have this as a legitimate Terminator remover for 130 points, assuming that the hammerhead goes to index points. I'm starting to think about it. D6 plus 3 blast. It is hazardous, but it's a vehicle body with plenty of whatever, we don't care. Strength 8, AP 2, damage 3, ignoring cover if you guide it. I will consider it if I'm in a Terminator meta. I will consider it. Hi Jay, forgot to ask about Crusade rules for the Tau. Crusade rules will be out of scope for this. I'll probably look at doing Crusade after we've got the Codex out and I can do all the competitive stuff. The channel is very much focused on competitive stuff. That's sort of the niche where I've found a lot of my success, but I will talk about the Crusade stuff. I will have to cover the tournament play, competitive play, the stuff that, like I'm really, really passionate about because that's the games I've been able to play. I haven't been able to find people for Crusade just yet, but I will look at covering it. Ironically, Battle Sector got me to look into this favorably. I know. In Battle Sector, it is actually so good. Also, Masu, I'm going to give you the lead of it. I'm chopping together all of my footage from my first round of the Battle Sector tournament. Actually, no. Would you like to watch the video and see the result? Or would you like me to just give you a spoiler and tell you now how I've done in round 1 of the Battle Sector tournament? Is the book not out yet? No. We're still in the pre-order window. The book will be... There are some people that have got it early. Lucky sons of bitches, but they probably shouldn't have. That is probably a store fucking up and giving that to them. But my book, I will be able to pay for my pre-order like next week. And then it'll get shipped once they get it available. But my LGS, Irresistible Force, actually shout out to them. My incredible LGS... that gave so much sponsorship to my team's event and have been looking after me, no end. There is a link in the description. Please show them some love. If you are in Australia and you want any hobbying supplies, any GW stuff, any stuff for other games, they hold an enormous amount of hobbying and painting and stock for games you don't even think you've ever heard of. They hold an enormous amount of stock. And they're really, really great, and they've been really great to me. Please click that link. Go and show them some love. Anyway, they don't even have their allocation from GW yet. That's the sort of time frame that we're talking about. They have put in an allocation. They don't even know what GW is going to send them. So, yeah. How viable cheap suits will be? I will say this. Each of the 3 variants is cheaper than the current 3-mans. You will want to take them. That's all I'll say. But again, MFM 2 weeks after the Codex comes out, their points might change. I don't know. I don't know. GW probably won't cock that up, but I won't speak for them because that'd be dangerous. Hammerhead, I think it fills a niche. I don't think it's something you plug into every list, but I think it has a role. And that's a good place to be in. Because start of the edition, everybody was taking invulnerable saves everywhere, couldn't get away from it, and so you didn't want hammerheads. Now, there are actually quite a few things, and Kyle had some great success with it in his tournament. There are actually things that are being taken that don't have an invulnerable save, and they don't want to interact with the hammerhead. And if you have we can't run 4 anymore because Longstrike's gone. Oh, pour one out for Longstrike. We can't run 4 hammerheads anymore. That was my favorite thing to do in 9th. You run 2 rail guns and an ion cannon, or 2 ion cannons and a rail gun and then a unit of broadsides or whatever. You have Terminator deletion covered. You have vehicle deletion covered. You have monster deletion covered. The ion cannons with blast are great into basically anything. So I will be playing around with it. I will definitely be playing around with it. Hammerheads, anybody who knows me knows that this is what got me into the game. Any of my Twitches, hit him with the railgun. We made an emote as our first emote. Skyray, big thing I want to point out here. You can't see it well on this. Seeker missile rack, twin linked. Skyrays are hard on my radar. These things are shooting to the top of my radar in terms of Premier Anti-Tank. 3 shots from each platform at strength 14, wounds most things in the game on 3s. AP3, D6 plus 1 damage. Twin linked, reroll all hits if you're targeting a unit that can fly, and you can reroll 1 hit or 1 wound when resolving their attacks. Meaning that this unit with Marker Light is an even better guider. I am looking forward to putting these guys into some of my lists. Devilfish, you know them, you love them, nothing changed, nothing needed to. These are the best transport in the goddamn game. Changed my mind. Hey, there's the rails. Thank you, boys. Thank you, boys. Skyro versus the Ion. The Ion doesn't compete with the Seeker missiles. That is not the platform that the weapon platform that they compete with. The Seeker missiles compete with the railgun. Because the railgun, yes, it'll wound most things on 2s, but both of them have the ability to reroll a hit or a wound. And if you're really worried about it, these guys have twin linked. What on 3s are you going to fail to wound unless you are me and you are the most cursed tournament player in the world? What are you going to fail to wound on 3s with full rerolls? On 4s, it's a 75% chance to wound. I think on 3s with full rerolls, it's like 87% chance to wound or some shit. That is a great, great conversion rate. Really, really good. Razor Shark. Didn't change. What would you change? You could use it as it's got the targeting unit that cannot fly, add 1 to hit. So you can get it hitting on 2s with its 8 shots with the quad ion and the Seeker missiles if you throw that into like tanks on the ground or whatever. Accelerated burst cannon on the front. It does have a missile. It does all that stuff. Accelerated burst cannon, quad ion, 2 Seeker missiles, and an armored hull. What do you change out? You change out the accelerated burst cannon for the missile pod. I don't know if you do that. You might. But at the end of the day, it's only 1 more pip of strength and 1 point of damage. The accelerated burst cannon, really, I think you're taking that to, kill horde bodies. Missile pod would be good for, like, Marines, that sort of stuff. Anything that's 2 wounds, Chaos Space Marines. But having said that, you've got that covered as well with your quad ion turret. The problem that the Razor Shark finds is, 1, it has been aggressively costed in the past. And that has been its problem, as well as the aircraft changes. You cannot hover it, which means that you are bound by the only coming in on your second turn or coming in as rapid ingress to then go on. If you went second, you can do it in your turn 2. If you went first, you rapid ingress it at the end of your opponent's turn 2 to then have it come in turn 3, so you might as well have just dropped it on the board during turn 2, or your turn 2. The Razor Shark is in a rough spot, I'll be honest. You could make it work, but it's a lot of work too. Sun Shark, I think, has a niche. It actually does. I'm running 2 of these on the weekend, and this didn't change. Though bear in mind, if you're running Montcar, these things with lethal hits will be quite good. Lethal hits on this, missile pods, twin ion rifles, all that sort of stuff. It's, you've got, 2 twin ion rifles, so you got 6 shots. And then bombing people for mortal wounds. This would be hilarious in a retaliation Carter with the grenade rack mortal wounds spam, and then you got 2 Sun Sharks flying overhead doing that as well. Again, you can do the rapid ingress stuff, but the aircraft changes do hurt these, but we also don't want to go back to the darkness that was the 9th Sun Sharks. I abused the hell out of them, and it was great. But also I saw the look on my opponent's face. That is not something we want to go back to. And then Seeker missiles being on them, they can take, 2 of them, which is great. Bombing people, doing all that sort of stuff. They will die, but usually if you position them well, you'll get their value. And you also give your opponent something that, like, if I've got a bunch of breaches in their face that they want to kill, but then there's also a Sun Shark, which is turned with the aircraft rules, and they know they're going to fly over their units. That can create some decision-making that could be problematic. They're also, this is T9. That's also a T10 body with 12 wounds and a 3-up save. I can see myself convincing myself to do it. That's all I'll say. Anyway, Storm Surge, my boy, my love, my homie, my only one, my Reptar. Where are you, buddy? Where is my Reptar? Oh my God, it's so cute. Mushu's right underneath my chair. He's sleeping right where my feet were, but I couldn't feel it until I moved my feet. I don't think I can stand up. I don't want to disturb him. He's all sleepy. And so I'm going to sit here. Reptar's over there. He's that way. Just believe me. Okay. Great chat. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Luke. That's really kind of you. All right. Nothing changed for the Storm Surge. And if the points in the book are to be believed, it is more expensive than 425 points. GW, I don't get angry that often. I don't like being a negative person because if I let myself go down that route, I'm a vat of acid away from being the supervillain that ends our species. But when I see a model that is getting no play, that has won no tournaments, or large tournaments, that paid for the towering issues that were around Wraith Knights, and then I see it go up in points while still being bound by the split fire penalty, that honestly you could just say in our army rule, if you were dead set on keeping it, that towering units do not suffer the -1 ballistic skill for splitting fire. When I see all these changes that you have made, a version of Jay that I have not seen in a very, very long time comes back out. And he's not welcome in our household for obvious reasons. Please, somebody explain this to me. Please. Please, someone tell me why they have butchered my boy and made him yet more expensive when our towering units were not the things that were stomping all over the meta, and now we get a new book and he becomes more expensive. And would anybody like to find the battlesuit keyword down here for me? Just anybody. Just if you could. Oh, wait. No, hang on. I got to move my camera. Oh, wait. Nope. I just grabbed a bunch of stuff that I didn't want to. Let's just Control Z that. Could someone find the battlesuit keyword for me, please? Just anywhere here. Just put it in there. I will give someone I will give someone 5 hours of my coaching time. If you can just find the battlesuit keyword right here that would drive us to increase his points. GW, I'm going to ask you this frankly. Would you like to sell some more Storm Surges? Remember how I made your Ghost Kills sell out by giving you the fix for the Ghost Kills at the end of 9th? Or Breaches and Devilfish in your new combat, or the current combat patrol box that was full of breaches, and you did what I said, and then everybody started buying them, and everybody lived happily after, living in the greater good. I am going to give you the fix for the Storm Surge. $370 points, $350 if you're feeling generous, and you change nothing else. Towering units do not suffer the -1 ballistic skill penalty when splitting fire while guided. And this unit is perfect. It doesn't appear in every list, but it is a genuine option for my favorite model in the book, in the army. It is a genuine anti-tank option, but at that point level, consumes enough points that it is still outshone in raw efficiency by broadsides and hammerheads and sky rays and whatever else. Please, GW, if you never listen to me again, please do this. Because let's look at why I'm saying this. Let's look at why I'm saying this. Because I won't just give you a fix and not explain it. Because I know the interns you've got working on the Storm Surge, don't understand enough about it. That sounded really shitty. I didn't mean for that to sound as sassy and shitty as it did. Storm Surge, all of its stats, great, fine. No problem. No problem whatsoever. The problem that the Storm Surge suffers is with the split fire penalty, we have a cluster rocket system, destroyer missiles, pulse driver cannon, which can be replaced with a pulse blast cannon, 2 twin smart missile systems, there should be a 2 here, twin tower flamers, thunderous footfalls. So we have cluster rocket system, twin smart missile systems, flamers, can be replaced with burst cannons or airburst fragmentation projectors, as we can see here. Anti-infantry, destroyer missiles, pulse driver. I'll go destroyer missiles, pulse blast, anti-tank, pulse driver, anti-terminator. Do you see the problem with me quoting 3 different types of units on a unit that absolutely wants to be guided in a meta where Titanic and Towering basically don't exist because you killed them? So a data sheet ability is just poof, gone. See you later. And we have to, with in the new book, more than 400 points, deal with all those threats with that sort of a point investment. For the same points, I could put in 2 Breacher plus Devilfish units and a Sunforge Crisis unit. And do way more against both of those target types. All 3 of them, actually. Doesn't that seem like a problem to you? That I can put in 5 different units for this little one, and do more. And all of those units have better strat usage. They get better usage out of the army rule. They get better usage out of synergies and everything else. Doesn't that strike you as a problem? Does me. 370 points, 350 if you're feeling generous. Does not suffer the -1 ballistic skill penalty when splitting fire. And you will sell out of Storm Surges in about 5 days. And give it battle suit. So if we walk a Storm Surge up to somebody, we get +1 strength and -1 AP. If somebody's charging our Storm Surge, we go, okay, dude, before you do it, you're charging AP1 Twin Tower Flamers, 2 of them, AP1 Twin Smart Missile System, AP1 Twin Burst Cannons, and they're all +1 strength. You are coming into me with 4d6 shots at strength 6 AP1. Would you still like to do it? Chat? Does that sound like it would be worth 370 points? I think it might. And all it is a line of text in our army rule. You've already written 4 paragraphs and included a diagram. Doesn't it make sense that 1 extra line would be 0 effort to make cash monies? Anyway, I will move on from the Storm Surge, as much as it hurts me physically. Tidewall Shield Line. Was anybody expecting me to speak about this as if it's a meme? Because this might have play. And I don't say that to trigger anybody. That isn't Katachan humor. That is like, this might actually have play. All right. Hear me out. I'm going to cook for a little bit. Hear me out. Beal, just hear me out. I know that I have burned you in the past. Well, I haven't, but, it sounds more dramatic if I say that. We got this T8 10 wound body. It only moves 4 inches. Cool. Fortification rules are actually not too bad in this iteration. I don't know if it was the same before. We never paid attention to it. Firing deck 20. Transport capacity of... If you have a Tide Wall defense platform, it is a transport capacity of 22 Tau infantry models. 2 full units of breaches with Cutter Fireblade. Now, there are some map packs for like WTC or GW or ITC that you won't want to use these. This will be a situational thing, but as we know in the teams format, skew lists are definitely a thing. And you can orient this however you want. This unit, when an enemy unit is only within engagement range of 1 or more fortifications from your army, and what that means is that the units inside are embarked within it. They can't be touched. It's like a devilfish. It's if they multi-charge, say like a unit of Kroot and your Tide Wall, then this line doesn't matter. But if it's only the shield wall or the defense platform, because it's fortifications, that unit can still be selected as the target of ranged attacks, but each time an attack is made, unless it's made with a pistol, subtract 1 from the hit roll. That means units outside of that engagement can shoot infantry as if they were monsters or vehicles. Let me cook! Models in that unit do not need to take Desperate Escape tests due to falling back while battle shocked, except for those that will move over enemy models while doing so. That is a benefit to you or your opponent, and it makes sense they're just falling back from the fortification. It's not like being locked in a life and death struggle with dudes that can grab your arms and your shirt and everything else. You are sort of like swinging over the top of a fortification and then just sliding off the... Like, look at how curved this is. You just slide off it and you're away. Makes sense, right? Tide Wall cover, each time a ranged attack is allocated to a model, if that model is not fully visible to every model in the attacking unit because of this fortification, as in you're behind it, that model has the benefit of cover. This acts like a ruin to give people cover behind you. Nice, not something you build around, but very nice. If equipped with the Tide Wall defense platform, it actually goes to 15 wounds, T8. And you have 20 breaches shoot out of it whenever somebody gets close. And let me cook! You're in the Moncard detachment. You take the enhancement to have 2 units Scout 6. The defense platform joins the shield wall and becomes part of that unit. That pregame moves 6 inches. Then the other one pregame moves 6 inches. And then you go, cool, this one that I want to get in range of that. You remember that enhancement where you get +1 OC when you're in range of it? You know what? I want to get him there. I'm going to auto advance this Tau Empire unit 6 inches. Faction keyword, Tau Empire. This Tide Wall shield line is going to go 10. I'm not going to be able to shoot it this turn. Oh, actually, no, let's look up Firing Deck. We might be able to shoot it this turn because Firing Deck selects things that are within the transport and uses their keywords. Let's look this up. Let me cook! Firing Deck. Chelsea, could you not be critical of my screaming at my fans? Jesus, you want to not scream at people, you go get fans. Let me cook! All right. Until the transport model has resolved all of its attacks, it counts as being equipped with all of those weapons you selected in this way, in addition to its other weapons. Breaches have assault. So this thing, pre-game move 6, auto advances 10, selects assault weapons, and fires 60 shots of pulse blasters at whatever is in range of that center objective. Now, I can't find Tidewall shield lines, defense platforms, or drone ports in Australia. They do not exist for whatever reason. If anybody would like to have me cook and play this at an event, I would be open to borrowing these models. I won't say being sent them because I'm not... I still don't fathom people wanting to send me stuff with nothing in return. But I would love to be able to play this. Fireblade's ability works because he gives +1 attack to all models in the unit. The guns have 3 attacks. Then the shield wall selects those weapons with 3 attacks and then fires with them. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. They fire 60 shots. 40 shots without a Fireblade. You imagine not putting a Fireblade in, saving the points. That's still 40 shots of Strength 6, AP 1, Damage 1. Now, you don't get the wound rerolls if they're on an objective because that is a data sheet ability and not a weapon ability. While embarked, his ability is still always active. It's just you don't interact with it because you can't select it. You can't select them to shoot while they're in that transport. It's still active because he's leading the unit. Even if he's inside there, you are still counted as a leader. While you are leading a unit, add 1 attack to all of your guns. Not when you're selected to shoot, just add 1 attack to all of your guns. Now, let's go down to... The Tide Wall is great as a meme, but let me go to what I actually think is the thing. Because you can attach a... What is it? A Tide Wall defense platform. Where is that? Is it, it might not have been in the leaks. There might be a 4th, because we've got the drone port and the gun rig. We can't see his things. Anyway. Let me then cook with this. Let me cook. The drone port. Each time this fortification is selected to shoot, its drone defender's weapon will target and resolve against attacks against every enemy unit that is an eligible target. So these 8 shots, fortification, blah, blah, blah. You fire all of the breacher's guns. Not at everybody, but at 1 target. But before you do that, use the drone defender's guns to shoot at everybody within 20 inches in line of sight. Again, scout move 6. Oh, was I wrong on that? Okay, I've got a few people saying it. Fireblade doesn't lead when embarked. And if I'm wrong on that, that's fine. Actually, I will look this up, but I will do it after the stream because I don't want to kill the entertainment value by getting locked up in the rules. Unless people want me to, and that's part of the entertainment for some weird thing. So... I was told the Fireblade definitely doesn't work with firing deck, but I've been told other things that I've been able to disprove. Being told it isn't the same as I have the rule, here's where it is. That's why I'll always go to the app. And I'm always happy to be wrong on stuff. Like, this is how we cook. We always look up the rules, even if we're not sure about it. I did it like 3 or 4 times on Jack's stream. If you don't know, then always look up. Even it doesn't matter who you are. You should always, if you are in doubt, look up. It doesn't matter who is right. It matters what's right. So you have a drone port that pre-game moves 6 inches, then auto advances 10 and has gone 16 inches on your first turn, and then fires 8 shots at everybody he can see. with firing deck 11. Even if the fire blade does nothing. Even if the firing deck does nothing. Firing deck only picks one gun from each model. Yeah, they only have one gun. They have the Pulse Blaster. That's my point. Oh, the defense platform is a plain disc you can't take on your own. So it must just be like something that you attach, but it's harder to move through buildings and stuff. That would kind of make sense. And don't forget that, like, off the battlefield, there is a thing in the rules commentary that says abilities still work, but there are rules that specifically state you can't use them while embarked within a transport. Let's look up embark first, because this is sparking some debate. So I am actually going to look at this because I would like to know, because how far I can go with this is kind of part of the meme, honestly. And then Tidewall gun rig, it's a little bit of a meme as well, but you could have a unit of breaches sitting in it, pre-game move at 6 inches, auto advance at 10, have a supremacy rail gun pointing at someone that doesn't want it pointed at them. And then, you know, it doesn't have any extra stuff, but it's got firing deck. This is probably the least interesting of all of them. This, the most interesting with the sheer amount of shit we can get away with. Having 22 inches that we can move like 16 inches on our first turn and shoot. But let's have a look. Let's have a look at this embarked units. Is there anything relating to abilities? Nothing that I can see that comes up immediately on the app. So let's have a look at the embarked unit section. This is in rules commentary. Okay, so the only thing in the rules commentary is that you cannot do anything with it, shoot, fight, use abilities. Now, bear in mind, use abilities, I guess that might actually count for that because you are using the ability to increase the number of shots. It's not like the ethereal, definitely you cannot roll for CP. I know Farsight can't go into one, but as an example, like the, Marine captains or whatever, you can't use a 0 CP stratagem because that is using an ability. I think, looking at that, I would tend to agree then. Because you are using the ability to increase the number of shots or attacks that are on those guns. Therefore, you cannot use abilities, so therefore it wouldn't affect it. I actually agree with all of you guys now. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, now that we're on there, fuck the Fireblade ability, whatever, 40 shots. Gun drone. Oh, no, you pick one, so you can't do the gun drones. But the leader, his 2 damage gun, you fire that. 40 shots. Out of a shield wall that's just gone 16 inches. Even without the Fireblade, if the shield wall's cheap and it was like, in the current index, it's like 90 points. 90 points? If that stays the same? Am I going to be looking at getting a shield wall? Oh my god, Sleeping Pill cooked even harder. You pick up the 3 Pathfinders with the Ion, and then use Hazardous with the shield wall, and because it is a transport... Oh no, it's not a dedicated transport, it can't get the scout move. But we got Monclar. Like, you take the Hazardous on the vehicle platform, which is the same thing that Hellblasters do for the Marines. Guys, shut up. Let him cook. Let Sleeping Pill cook. Gun rig with Pathfinders with rail rifles is kind of spicy. Like, you see how quickly the meme devolves, but do you also see why I say that Montcar is the best attachment we have? Look at the shit that we have just come up with. From an enhancement, a stratagem, and a unit nobody ever took, and you were a crackpot for putting on the table. Pagan, my Tidewall Chasseur, I really hope you're watching this. This might be legit, my dude. This actually might be legit. And I'm kind of keen to run, like, I wouldn't put in 3, but 2 Tidewall shield lines. Okay. And then behind them, you've got your Devilfish for your turn 2, advance up, get out and do it. Because these guys don't need the breaches to get out. And then think about it. If you're on center objective, this shield line has OC1 because of the enhancement that we bought. Somebody else guides the Tidewall. It gets sustained hits from that other enhancement. It has lethal hits. You're firing 40 shots with sustained, lethals, OC1, and if you kill the Tidewall, OC30 gets out onto the point. Are you guys glad you let me cook? Oh my God, Sleeping Pill did cook. Sleeping Pill did cook. All right. I got to read this out. So, infiltrating Pathfinders, scout on shield wall from enhancement. Grundy maneuver the shield wall forward, Pathfinder's back. Shield wall is not a dedicated transport, so it doesn't need to start with any models inside. Bill No just pointed out OC 60 on the point, 20 breaches just got out. Actually, it's 64 because of the Fireblades. Chad, I think this is the most ridiculous shit that I've ever come up with, and I cannot goddamn wait to get this on. Okay, like, I have in the description, like, fuck the creep boxes. My boy Stormcrow has hooked us up with 3. Like, just that on its own gives me enough imposter syndrome. If you would like to help me build a shield wall list, and I say that with all sincerity, if I can win a tournament with a Tidewall line, imagine what we do to the Tau Discord, Reddit, and Facebook pages. Hello, is the Hammerhead still good? Yes, arguably got better with some of the stuff. Collegiate Titanica Painter. Hey, dude, how you doing? Good to see ya. We just cooked out our asses. I don't know if you were watching everything. TLDR, Tidewall Shield Line, pre-game move 6 inches, auto advance 10, pick assault weapons within the unit, fire 40 breacher pulse blasters. If the Tidewall dies, get out onto a point which has an additional OC. 60 OC gets out onto that point. Bill No gifted a tier 1 sub to the Flea. Thank you very much, dude. You're an absolute legend. Thank you. Yeah, look, dude. Okay, if anybody would like to help me get Tidewalls on the table, because this is not something I can just go and splash out for immediately. Best ways to do it. There is a PayPal link in the description where you can donate. There are also, like, that Tau Guy t-shirts, merch, everything else. We are shipping locally or internationally. Even if you saw the merch store before and you were having the shipping issue, we have disconnected fully from that supplier. They were calling the issue. We are making everything ourselves. My beautiful wife, Chelsea, hand makes everything, and it is fucking gorgeous. Go and check out the merch link that's in the description as well. Whew! Tidewalls are on my radar. And I cannot wait. I so cannot wait to watch someone's face when a meme unit kills them. The Flea and Peter Pansky, thank you very much for the follow. Just... All right, we've spent a bit of time on that. That actually ends us talking about everything from the leaks. Again, guys, the stuff like the Vespid and that sort of stuff, the Pathfinders, they didn't get taken out of the book. They're just not in the leaks. The points that are in the book, when you guys get it, they are not going to be the points in 2 weeks. We have 2 weeks for the MFM. After the MFM, our codex becomes tournament legal. That is the process. Also, just out of interest, my first Mont car list, I definitely called Monte Car and the Quest for the Holy Greater Good. Baron, honestly, I don't know how we skin this. If you do, like, contact me on Facebook or Discord or whatever else. I'll send you a shipping address, I guess. I wasn't expecting people to get like whole ones, but more just like a community fundraiser so I can throw some of my dollars in and then like not, get crippled trying to validate buying a meme to Chelsea. I do like keeping my testicles. But don't you laugh at me, woman. That is the shit that we've cooked with so far. TLDR for people that have just dropped in. You go back and watch it as a VOD. There is a lot for you to sink your teeth into. Mont car number 1. Crute unit, the Crute detachment, rank 2. Trailing so infinitesimally behind that I'm only putting it at 3 because I can't just go, oh, they're both at rank 2, because that'd be shitty. Retaliation Carter. That is my 1, 2, 3. Cao Yun is at 4 because I've been playing it forever and I don't like not having a detachment rule for half of the game. I don't like that design. Point number 5. I'm going to win an event with 2 shield walls with defense ports on it. Because we cooked so goddamn hard. Sleeping Pill, Masu, Beal, all of my other contributors to that little session, Gordon Ramsay be proud. Gordon Ramsay would be absolutely stoked on us. Now let's talk about example lists. So, wait, do I have my napkin math list that I had, that I sent Jack? Let's have a look. This was for the Barnyard stream. What's the best way to present this? Now, it's not going to be perfect, and it is with old points. And I'm going to delete the points off because, again, even though I have them, I don't like the idea that somebody just clips that screenshot, puts it on the internet out of context, and freaks everybody the fuck out, because points is not what you should be focusing on. Points will change, and any of the non-new units will probably go to the points that we've got now. Honestly, that's... Don't focus on the points. We are in such a good spot. And anybody who's been wondering about my take on the leagues, oh my God, we are in for such a fun edition. Oh my God, we have some tools. Look at what we just did with a fucking Tidewall shield line. If you think that's all the cooking that we can do with the new tools that we've got, you are insane. You are kidding yourself. If you are dooming because the sky's falling and everything else, maybe examine why you think that, because it might just be that something's changed and you're not ready for that change, or you don't want to get used to that change, or you're an idiot. I don't know. But like, we are in such a good spot. Even with, if this codex comes out with the points that we're at now, games will be harder, but they'll still be fun. You will have tools to solve problems. We are in for a great time. Really, really great time. So Doomers, stop dooming. Gloomers, stop glooming. Anti-Cruders, fuck off back to your own planet. Crude are great. It's okay for you not to like something. It's not okay for you to ruin somebody else's good time with it. Anyway, let's have a look at this list. And we will go into a little bit of... Where are you? I'm having to do way too much scrolling. If you would like to have a question answered immediately, because obviously chat moves very fast and it can be hard to keep up with, consider a super chat. They are a great way to support the channel, help me get these tide walls on the table. Tee-hee. And, obviously get my attention straight away so that we can do the things that we do. So, let's just go Notepad. I'll just paste it in there. What the fuck is this? Okay, that was the README for a Dawn of War mod that I installed, which had Tau in it, that my capture software really didn't like, I didn't realize it kept them all open. That could have been really bad if my weird, gross porn stayed on there. Chelsea, could you let me cook? God, you're so judgmental. You're really lucky you're hot. I heard the smile in that shut up. Oh my God, I hope you guys can hear this. My little boy's dreaming below my feet and he does these little like yelps when he's dreaming. I hope you can hear it. Oh, he's in the doorway. Oh, they might not be able to. That's probably too far from the microphone. It is the cutest thing. All I think about is that he's like chasing something and having a great old time. So, my Mont car list will basically start here. Enhancements times 3. Now, I know this isn't particularly like, I'll zoom in. And I know this doesn't give you a lot. I'll probably only look at 1 unit of Pathfinders. I had to, oh my God, that is horrid. There we go. There we go. So, this is about where I started. Now, there are some changes that I would like to make, and that is around Crude Hounds, maybe the Piranhas, a unit of Pathfinders, and maybe dropping 1 unit of Sunforgers. But Darkstrider Pathfinders, Triple Breacher Fish, Farsight, Inner Sunforge unit, 3 enhancements that I went through. I don't taking something out of the Mont car. 3 Fireblades to join their unit. And then I'll probably look at putting in like Broadsides, Riptides, Hammerheads, Skyrays. That's in that anti-tank slot. But this, as a base, went into a triple big demon list and murdered a big demon in 1 turn with a 5-up Feel No Pain and an invulnerable save. Is the order important? No, not at all. This is just, I just got this down. But you can sort of see what was the first thing that went through my head to write down. Darkstrider Pathfinders. Like they were instantly the thing that I wanted in. Breaches and D-Fish, instantly in. Farsight, honestly, in any Mont card attachment, he's going to do absolute work. And let me review why that is. Battle tactic, battle tactic, battle tactic. Can't use it, but battle tactic. He can use 3 of the best stratagems that we have. And even just, hey, Farsight, go auto 16 with those fusion blasters. Get into there. It just works, man. It just friggin' works. So, also, enjoy my background. How good is it? I friggin' love this one. So, when I look at the Mont card attachment, what am I looking for? I'm looking for weight of shots with lethal hits. I'm looking for a good core of scoring and damage, which is breaches, which is pathfinders. I have stealth suits in there for the reroll 1s to hit and wound. I only put in 10 because I don't have 3 built. Most of my list will include 3 units of pathfinders. Just straight up. Just straight up. Oh my God. A Tidewall Lemmy Cook shirt would be just so, like, put a Tau unit, because you know Aussies love their barbecues. A Tau guy in like an apron with like, you know, his Tau waifu on the apron. He's like sizzling some sausages up. Yeah, everybody says for Australians that it's throwing out the shrimp on the barbie. No Australian has ever eaten a shrimp ever. That is an Americanism. It doesn't exist. You're wrong. You're wrong, and go fuck yourself. What we love are sausage sizzles, snags, snag sandwich, a sanger, if you will. But, anyway, him in the tide wall cooking up a barbecue while a bunch of like Marines bang on the side of the tide wall, and the breaches just being like, how's it going? Yeah, not eat a fuck spiders, mate. And then you've got let me cook, because the dude's literally cooking in there. But anyway. Core of breaches, core of Darkstrider, core of Pathfinders. Sunforge, Farsight, the 3 enhancements that I mentioned before, just all of them except for Exemplar of the Mod Car, they go on the Fire Blades. Now, the evolution of the Grundy maneuver, I will talk about. I will make a video on because I think it'll be, out of scope for this. We've been going for 3.5 hours, guys. We've been going for 3.5 goddamn hours. Shrimp on the Barbie and Dingo ate the baby. Dingo ate the Barbie. It wasn't a Barbie. Unfortunately, it was a baby. And actually, it's a really, really tragic story where that actually happened and a woman lost her child. But anyway, Shrimp on the Barbie, yeah, it's from an 80s movie that just like America never let go of. But anyway, this is the core of my Mont Car list. This is negotiable. This is negotiable. Change this to this if you got the models for it. 2 Sunforges is negotiable. I'd probably say that this, and then going into like, 1 Cold Star and Star Scythes. And then like, fill in the anti-tank that I was talking about, the fire knives, whatever else, like that sort of stuff will make people just cry and hate you. Oh, I'll also delete a unit of Pathfinders. That is good, but you don't need to have that. So this is my core of a Mont Car list that I will wreck a GT with. Absolutely. And I would be surprised not to see any other good Tau player use something like this and do very, very well with it. And then fill in as you see fit with anti-tank and everything else. When I start looking at the Kroot detachment, I did have questions on, like, what are you putting in that's Kroot and what are you putting in that is Tau? Honestly, all the Kroot you can fit. All the Kroot, jam it in. Just get it in there, just whatever. We will work out what the best units are when we actually have the app to be able to properly do points and everything else. I do think that the downside of the Kroot hunting pack detachment is their anti-tank. If you want to go a full stealth list, the funny thing is the full stealth list actually works better in the Kroot detachment than it does in the Kaoyun detachment. And the reason for that is that everything for Kroot, bar Krootoxes, have stealth. You then throw in stealth suits. You then throw in you then throw in your ghost keels and all that sort of stuff. You have a full stealth unit. You can put Shadow Sun in there and have a lone op and reroll ones and everything else because I'm pretty sure her ability works. No, it's not that one. Works with bang that one. Let's go up. I'm pretty sure it doesn't exclude Kroot. Tau Empire unit. Kroot to Tau Empire. The stealth list actually works better in Kroot because then you've got battle line and everything else with all -1 to hit, a bunch of lone ops with the Kroot characters. Yeah, and then fill it in with broadsides, hammerheads, sky rays, all the stuff that we were talking about. They are the Swiss Army knife, but you could also just opt straight in for commanders and the crisis units. They will still do absolutely fine. I think the Sunforgers stand out because they are very, very good anti-tank / elite. Really great. But I think that the Kroot, you can have pure Kroot, but I think it is less efficient and you have to lean very heavily into being a swarm list and overwhelming your opponent and having too many ways to come back onto the board, or you stat check them with the sheer number of bodies that they get through. And there are some armies that don't have the volume to kill as much as you will throw out there. But you have to be comfortable playing that because you have to be comfortable with putting scoring first, being tabled, and being able to rectify the idea of like, oh, I'm not killing anything, but you know what? I'm ahead and that's okay. So that's how we will play the Kroot list. Retaliation Carter, suits. If it's got battle suits, slap it in. It's all the thinking you need. If it's got battle suits, slap it in. Just, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. And everybody, that is our stream. That is my thoughts on the leaks. I want to say thank you to everybody who was asking me during the Battle Sector stream to talk about the leaks. Hopefully you understand that I wasn't going to do it before the NDAs were up, because I am getting to the point now where the channel is big enough and influential enough and profitable enough that, you know, GW can look at us as a serious candidate for early release stuff. I mean, look at this. We're talking about leaks and we've got 60 viewers for a VOD that's probably going to get a couple of thousand views at least. That is a good mark to show somebody, hey, there is interest in whatever else. And I wasn't going to forego that relationship early, even though I wasn't under an NDA. I wasn't going to forgo it early to show them, hey, I'm just being flippant with your IP. Because I don't care. Anyway, we are in the process of trying to talk to GW to get that early access stuff. I am feeling promising. And like I was saying, the channel is growing a lot. So if you would like to join us, if you would like to see more content, if you would like to see me review with another very, very excellent Australian Tau player when we get the Codex, or you would just like to help us out with the algorithm gods and everything else, do the internet things, hit the like button and the, comment and whatever else, share it with people or forums that you think need to see it. I don't really plug myself a lot, teehee, on other forums. I'll go to a few key places, but I've never been that sort of person. But if you think a forum needs to see what I'm saying, then absolutely share it there. Or don't. I'm not your dad. Thank you very much to everybody who's joined me. Thank you to my patrons, especially my Shasso members who make all of my videos possible, get free coaching from me every single month. And I'm working on getting some of this new merch that we're creating as loyalty items for people that are a Shasso for 6 months, a year, all that sort of stuff. Just throw them some free stuff to let them know just how much I appreciate and love them. If you would like to join them, links in the description, or hit the YouTube membership button. It's all priced exactly the same. Let's go Tide Walls. Let them cook. See you in the next one, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful weekend.